Attention. This is a public service announcement from the WRB studios. The following episode that you are about to enjoy contains spoilers. Heavy spoilers. Spoilers for the entire Harry Potter series and universe. So if you have not yet had the privilege of finishing all 7 books, please kindly proceed at your own will. Caution, caution, spoiler alert.
"What does she understand?" said Harry distractedly, still looking around, trying to tell where the voice had come from. "Loads more than I do," said Ron, shaking his head. "But why's she got to go to the library?" "Because that's what Hermione does," said Ron, shrugging. "When in doubt, go to the library."
Hello.
Hello!
And welcome to the We Read Books podcast.
Bow, bow, bow.
This is a show where we read books and then we talk about them because it makes us happy.
Yes.
And hopefully it makes you happy too.
Yes.
That's what we're here to do.
right.
Spread the joy.
Yeah. Put a smile on that face. That sounded a little more menacing than I meant it to.
It was giving me like Joker vibes.
Yeah, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, this is not what you intended. But here it goes.
Isn't that what he says? Like when he's... Cause
Put a smile on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
his dad's like talking to him.
I haven't watched Batman too many times. Oh, gosh.
So many times you just forget when you're quoting it.
Yep.
Honestly, though, that is my favorite Batman. I know it's probably like kind of a cliche favorite to have, but I just feel like Heath Ledger's Joker is unparalleled.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's cliched at all. I really actually don't think that, not that I think Christian Bale is not liked, but I feel like he's not one I typically hear brought up. Mm-hmm. A lot of people either, of course, our household, it's Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
But I actually really love Kevin Conroy, who did the voice for Batman for the animated series. Mm-hmm. He's my Batman, but then, of course, Michael Keaton, and Caleb loves Michael Keaton. But I just feel like, Christian Bale, people either, loved him or hated him. Yeah. And, of course, it had to do with, the Batman voice that he did. But
right.
Man can't be out here using his schmoozy Bruce Wayne voice. Okay?
Right.
Spoiler alert, right. Batman is Bruce Wayne. But, I don't think it's cliche at all. And I think it's cool that he's your favorite Batman.
Yeah. Well, it's really just because of Heath Ledger.
Yeah. It's your favorite Batman story.
Yes.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah. I thought that Joaquin Phoenix did a good job in Joker, but that movie was so goddamn depressing. I
didn't see it for that very reason. I have a gut reaction to a trailer, and if it tells me this is going to devastate my soul, I don't watch it.
Listen, don't watch it. See, and that's the problem with that movie. We watched it maybe a month or two after it came out. We rented 2 movies for Valentine's Day. One of them was Joker, and one of them was a comedy.
Yeah.
And I knew that Joker was this version was going to be a little darker.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still expecting superhero vibes.
Yeah, not just a commentary on
Mental health.
Yeah, and society and how they...
Whenever we were done watching it, I was like, what on earth? Why is no one talking about how so horribly depressing this movie is?
Yeah.
It was...
Ugh.
It was upsettingly depressing. Like, I can watch a sad movie.
Yeah, yes. Sad is one thing. Moving, or even something that makes you think, like we talked about, like 1984. Mm-hmm. But, like, that looked soul-crushing.
It really was.
Oof.
We were both just sitting in our living room like, what do we do now?
Right? How do I take the next step into my life?
We can't go anywhere from here. So did Joaquin Phoenix act that well? Yeah. Will I ever want to watch that movie again? No.
No.
Never again.
No. Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry. Well, the one who had her entire being crushed by the movie Joker, that is mad.
And that's Whit. And she has saved herself from total soul-crushing annihilation. And this was like... I think I still worked at the court when that movie came out. This was like pre-COVID, like just pre-COVID.
I have zero concept of time. Like things that happened 5 years ago, I'm like, that just came out, right? And then stuff that happened like 30 years ago, I'm like, that was only 5 years ago. Like
I know. The only reason I can like kind of like demarcate different segments is because I remember when we were deciding on what movies we were going to watch for Valentine's Day, I was still at the court because Amy was like, oh, yeah, it was good. It was sad, but it was good. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, I can handle that.
She didn't tell you that you were going to need actual therapy afterwards.
Yeah. Yellow, sad.
Yikes.
Thanks, Amy.
Shout out to Amy.
Still bothered.
Oh my gosh.
This week, we are doing the continuation of our HP series.
Yup.
With the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
The second book in the Harry Potter series, if you didn't know.
Yep. But if you enjoy us and our random conversation, you can follow us on our social channels. On Instagram and TikTok, it's We Read Books Pod. And then our email, if you would like to send in comments, questions, suggestions. Mm-hmm. Nothing rude. As we've said before, rude-free zone. So we read books pod 23@gmail.com.
Yep.
Yarp.
I did not put info about the novel in the outline.
I noticed that when I was reading it. I was like, oh yeah, we should add something before I leave the house. And I forgot as well. So it's not all on you.
So I don't think we need to like elaborate on the success of this novel. It kind of speaks for itself.
Agreed.
We kind of covered the massive level of success that these books have in our last episode.
Yes.
So we'll just say that this is obviously by J.K. Rowling, and it was published July 2nd, 1998. Whoa! 98.
So 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
In Whitney time.
On July 2nd of 1998, I was still 7.
I was 10. Woo.
I
survived a decade at that point.
I would be turning 8 in like
just
2 weeks.
Just a hop skip.
Yeah.
And you were 8.
Yeah. Maybe one of the reasons I loved Harry Potter so much as a child is because it's all like in July.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually you come into the story in July at the beginning of all the books.
Yep.
They were usually released in July. The movies usually released in July.
It just felt like they were personally celebrating your birthday.
They were there for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. The release of the very last film was 3 days before my birthday.
Right. And because you did that big special showing, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yep. We gate crashed special showing accidentally. Jury was very anxious about it. It was completely innocent, too.
Yeah.
We were not trying to gate crash. We had, like, midnight release tickets.
Yeah.
And the way that because we were in Orlando in City Walk, like, right there. And the AMC, we were there at, like, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. Because you gotta get in line. Yeah. This was not assigned seats.
No.
So we saw where the line was starting, and there were like 4 or 5 people in line, and we were hungry. And the AMC had a like restaurant in the theater, so we were like, and this is July in Florida. We're like, okay, let's go in there and eat. And if we notice the line getting crazy or starting to like fill up quick, we'll just pop right out of the line.
Right.
No big deal. So we go in the doors and they look at our tickets and the guy's like, oh yeah, you just go up this escalator and it's the theater like on your left. And I was like, oh shit, are we allowed to like go in and sit until the movie starts? Are you serious? And so we just followed direction.
Yeah.
And then we got to the top of the escalator and someone checked our tickets, ripped our tickets, gave us our 3D glasses, and they're like, okay, go over to the theater. And we were walking in, and a third person checked our tickets. And they were like, okay, yeah. Sit anywhere you want. So we go in, we sit, we're vibing, chilling, and...
You're thinking, we got great seats, and
yeah,
we're just going to be hanging out for a few hours, but no big deal.
I was like, what are those idiots down there doing standing in the line?
Yeah.
And so we're just sitting there, and there's a girl sitting next to me. She's, like, got her wand. She's got a book. And she's like, I can't believe it starts in, like, half an hour. I was like, huh? And I didn't say anything to her, but I felt Jury, like, get tense. And I was like, I don't think we're supposed to be here. And she's like, we should leave. And I was like, they've ripped our tickets already.
Right.
3 people checked our tickets that work here.
It would be harder to explain leaving and then trying to get back in with ripped tickets.
Exactly.
That would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. And I was like, we're staying. I have literally been waiting to see this film since I was like 9. We're staying.
Right.
And she was like, but if it fills up and there are people that don't have seats. And I was like, listen, we're staying.
Right. People will stand in the aisles for this, okay?
Yeah. Everyone's going to be fine.
Yep.
So we stayed, watched the movie, and it was great and excellent. And seeing it, like, it was the LeakyCon, like, group.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So
those are true fans.
True blue fans. They were, like, waiting for the film to start. There was a bunch of people, like, standing in the front having pretend duels with their wands, like...
You really had the most exceptional experience. Your midnight people would not have been that.
And they were, like, super interactive through the whole movie, like, on the big parts. They would, like, cheer and yell. And the first time you see Neville pop up, this is, like, and this is Deathly Hallows Part 2. Like, shit is real. The first time you see Neville, everyone's like, ah! So, even back in 2011, Neville was, like... fan fave.
Right. Oh, so, that's awesome.
It was very fun and exciting. We also couldn't really hear that much dialogue because of all the talking. Yeah. So we caught a matinee the next day, but...
Smart.
It was like a very cool way to see the very last film.
Awesome.
And completely innocent.
Yeah.
That would not have gone off if it was intentional.
And 3 different people.
Yeah.
That's not your fault.
This was fate.
It was. It really was.
We were supposed to be in that showing.
Yeah. I would love to go to LeakyCon. I think that would be so fun.
I agree. Yeah.
The fact that there's still a LeakyCon going on yearly.
Yeah.
And the movies haven't come out for years.
Literally.
That just shows how solidified this franchise is.
It's, cemented.
Yeah.
It's forever.
Right.
Maybe when the show starts coming out... we will be able to maybe catch, like, a season finale with the LeakyCon.
Oh, that'd be sick.
That'd be pretty sick.
Future plans.
Future plans. You heard it here, folks.
Well, if you listened to the first one or you've just, like, lived in this world for, long enough, you've heard about Harry Potter. We're not going to go over the previous characters. Like, we'll
Yeah.
mention them throughout the recap, but
Right.
we can't go through. We could, but we're not going to go
Just
through all those
not.
people before
Yeah.
in the last one that were important. But we will go over some of the ones that are newly important in this one.
Exactly. So first on the list is Ginny Weasley.
Love the Weasleys.
Love me some Weasleys. So we did meet her in the first book, but very, like, sparingly.
Yeah, briefly.
But she is more prominent in this book. She's actually in her first year at Hogwarts in this book, so we get to hang out with her a little more. And we also meet Arthur Weasley in this book, which is very exciting.
Yes.
And he does not ask about the function of a rubber duck
No.
in the book.
No.
That is purely movie, and honestly, even whenever that movie first came out in 2002, I was like, no. Arthur Weasley would not ask that.
He literally works in, like, the Muggle department of the Ministry. If the man doesn't know what a rubber duck is or isn't,
That it has no function?
right, then I would be concerned for his ability to do his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's smarter than the movies give him credit for.
He is. And I mean, he does get, like, excited when Muggle things come up, like
Yes.
using Muggle money and, like, taking the escalator and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But rubber ducks, come on. You couldn't have picked, like, if you wanted him to ask Harry about a very rudimentary Muggle thing,
Yeah.
have him ask him about something else, like
Yeah.
the function of, like, I don't know, a television or
Or not even the function of, but, like, how does it work without
Yeah.
magic?
Yeah.
Kind of thing or something.
yeah, what's up with a television?
Yeah.
How does an airplane stay up?
Do you ever wonder why wizards, I forget, I think the books eventually say, but is it like electricity sort of interferes with magic or something?
I think the magic interferes with the electricity.
Oh, okay, vice versa. That
yeah.
makes more sense.
Yeah, because I think it's that, like, the Muggle things don't work around very concentrated places of magic because it makes them, like, go wild.
Haywire. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes more sense, actually,
Yeah.
than the way that I had it. But such is my brain. So, then we have Dobby. He is a house elf for a mysterious family.
Yep, he is.
Though reading it, it's like the clues are all pretty much right there, but it's
Yeah.
a mystery nonetheless.
Nonetheless, then we also meet Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh boy.
He is a famous writer.
Self-important
He's
airbag.
yeah, he's famous for writing these books where he does miraculous things and saves people from ghouls and werewolves and banshees and whatever else.
All
his
manner
books
of
are.
dark creatures.
So he's written all these books and he's super famous, and he won Witch Weekly's Best Smile. And he's the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher because Quirrell is dead.
Gonzo. And then we have Lucius Malfoy, or Lucius Malfoy. I say Lucius, but Lucius? Either way.
I think I say it both ways.
I do too.
So
It's
either way.
Draco's daddy.
Yeah.
He is a school governor
Yes.
or something along
He
those
is.
lines.
He is.
And he is also a very self-important man, but in a very different way.
Yes. He is kind of a, like, rich wizarding hotshot because he's, like, a pureblood and
Snobby jerks.
snobby jerk. And his name sounds like it's from a porn. Lucius.
Oh.
Lucius.
I bet there's people out there that call him Luscious Malfoy.
Luscious.
Oh my god.
First of all, I came across a reel the other day on Instagram, and it was like if Gen Z was at Hogwarts or whatever, and they referred to Voldemort as Bull Daddy
No!
and Dumbledore as Dumble Daddy.
No! I have to scream away from the microphone. No!
I
No.
really, literally almost peed my pants.
Was it Voldemort in his, like, white skin, like, appearance?
It didn't, like, I don't know. I honestly
Ew.
don't know.
I mean, Vole Daddy, like, voles are, like, little creatures in the ground that jack up your yard. Like, they look like little mice, rats, first of all. And then ew.
Vole Daddy. It was just, like, the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
Rafe Fiennes is a handsome man. But as Voldemort...
Not handsome.
Not at all. He's actually, like, it makes me physically uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know, if they've done something to, like, the shapes of his, like, teeth and, like, other... Obviously, they made his, like, nose go away and stuff, but there's just... ew.
Yeah. They don't make him look... He's not supposed to be, like, handsome anymore.
I am glad that they didn't go the route of, like, picking, like, a hot dude, so you're like, well, he's evil, but I mean, look at him.
Hey.
You know, you're supposed to be...
I'm in my villain era.
Right.
Hey.
Right. You're supposed to be disgusted by him, I think.
Right. I think so.
And they did a good job.
Yeah, because they especially later in the books, they make it a point to say how handsome he was when he was a kid and going through Hogwarts and right after he was out of Hogwarts and before he started, like, doing all this wild shit.
Yeah.
He was, like arrestingly handsome.
Yeah.
Like, I always pictured him to look similar to, like, Cedric Diggory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, like, really
but just
smart,
like a
really
dark,
handsome. Yeah, like,
version.
Like the villain version of Cedric Diggory.
Yeah.
And then it talks about how, like, stark his features started to become, like, waxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
Jason Isaacs, though.
Handsome.
And with a long blonde wig, I mean...
Still handsome.
Sometimes a long blonde wig will really do wonders for you, like Matt Smith in House of the Dragon. That could just simply be, like, a swag factor.
Yeah.
I mean, when I see Matt Smith just as Matt Smith, I don't think he's unattractive. Mm-hmm. And I'm always a sucker for someone British.
Just wait till you see him in a bow tie, baby.
A British accent will get me every time.
Yeah.
And I just assume they're hot. Like, if I just hear them, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's hot. Just assume you're super attractive. But Matt Smith is Damon in House of the Dragon. I was like, God,
Excuse
why
me?
are you so much hotter like that? Why?
That's his look. That's the one, I guess.
Not even that great of a lace front. You should have hired a drag queen to lay that shit. But, I mean, still looks good.
Oh my goodness. That's too funny.
I think the youth would call that Riz.
Oh.
I've been learning new jargon these days.
Oh, man.
Apparently, Riz is the abbreviation of charisma.
Oh, okay, because
So-
I've heard Riz, and 90-year-old me is just like, yeah, what's that?
Well, and
That makes more sense.
I don't think I've used any new slang since, like, I think the main slang terms that I use are from the 90s when I was a young child. Like,
And that's rad of you.
I say things like sick, bro, and dude.
Heck yes.
The rest of the slang I've just never picked up.
No, I mean, I think I've never even I've used it jokingly, been like, that's fire. And then you just heard it, how gross that sounded coming from me.
Yeah, I don't ever say it's fire because I just don't like it. I just don't like how it feels when it comes out.
No.
But lit sometimes, but that's usually also joking.
Right. It's going to be sick for me. Like, that is sick.
I will say that I started saying that's sick when I was in high school as a joke.
And now you use it
now I say
legitimately.
Legitimately. I'm like, oh, so sick, dude.
I wish I remembered rad more often, because especially when I was young, I had a shirt that said, I'm rad, you're rad, let's hug.
Yeah.
I would for sure wear that shirt, minus the let's hug. Like, you know, I'm a hugger with my friends, but not with strangers. No stranger danger. No. But I loved that shirt, And I would rock the I'm rad, you're rad.
Yeah.
We're all rad.
For sure.
Like, I'm cool with it.
Just take a Sharpie and, like, mark out the let's hug.
Right.
Let's not hug.
Right. Let's keep a safe distance.
Yeah.
And keep our radness intact.
Exactly. Exactly.
Don't cross the streams. Don't cross the radness. Keep it separate.
Yeah. I'll be rad over here and you be rad over there.
Perfect.
And we'll all stay happy. Yeah.
We need to make t-shirts. We've already come up with a couple good ideas.
I know.
Tonight.
If anybody steals our ideas and I see them on the internet in like a month, I'll be pretty mad.
Yeah.
We're just giving out dollars.
As they say, we would be salty about it.
I do say salty sometimes.
Yeah, I do too.
That's a good one, though.
It is.
That one makes sense in my brain.
It
So
does.
many of them just don't make sense in my brain.
Mm-mm.
Like, God, what was it? Dakota, because Dakota listens to, like, a lot of, watches, like, YouTube with, like, some younger people.
Mm-hmm.
And so he hears a lot more of the slang than I do. Because I, like, 90% of the time listen to books, so you're not getting any slang.
No.
So I get all of my information from Dakota.
Oh, another one that doesn't feel right is Gucci. For some reason, if I'm, that's Gucci. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like that either. Oh, what is the one I'm thinking of? That makes no sense to me. Oh, it's cap. Like,
I've never even heard that one.
They'll say, like, no cap. And when he said it, I thought, okay, so that means, like, it's overflowing. Like, it's above the threshold.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, that's what it means
What you
to
thought.
me.
Yeah.
That is not even close. It apparently means, like, no lie.
Oh.
I was like, but why, though?
Why not just say no lie?
Yeah, it's...
No cap?
No cap, to me, means no limit.
Right. I was going to say, like, the cap's off.
The cap's off.
We're ready to go.
We have no limits, no restrictions.
Right.
Free. That's what it means in my brain.
That's how we're going to use it.
And when he told me that, I was like, I can't with that one.
Nope.
And then I hear it on TikTok a lot, and I just, every time I hear it, I'm just like, ooh.
Yeah.
Nope, don't like that one.
We're going to reclaim that one.
Yeah.
Reclaim, redefine.
Yeah. There's no cap on the amount of fun we're going to have.
Yeah.
That's how it should be used.
Right. Get it together, youngins.
Yeah, you youths.
You youths. Speaking of youths, our next new character is a youth named whatever, Tom Riddle.
Tom.
We don't know, well, we know much about Tom. We're not going to tell
Tom.
you at this very moment. So he's just a student
From 50 years ago.
at Hogwarts. So
Yep.
you'll see why he's relevant
Good old Tom.
eventually.
And then we get Aragog.
Oh.
Aragog is technically, his technical term is an acromantula.
A giant heckin' spider.
Like, he's so huge. No.
Maddie's not. I mean, no one's really.
No one's really.
Not no one. There are bug people out there that love spiders, but your average person is not super fan of spiders.
Yeah.
Maddie is like extra not a super fan.
Yeah, extra not cool with the spideys. I have been getting a little better, and just when I see a spider in my house, usually I will just let it do its thing. I won't kill it, because I know that it's probably... I don't like any bugs.
I don't either.
So. I don't like any bugs at all. And so the spiders are probably taking care of that bug problem.
Right.
So we don't really have too many bugs in our house.
Right. I'm sure the dark forest there is very bug free.
Yeah.
And if not, I don't know what these things are eating.
Yeah, because they're like huge.
Mm-hmm. Even the babies.
Yep.
Because there are more.
Yeah, the babies are like the size of an SUV. And
Yikes.
so the big one, the grandfather, he's the size of a house.
He's a large boy.
So big.
And then we've got a little boy. named Colin Creevey. It's his first year at Hogwarts this year.
It is, and he's a Gryffindor, and he loves to take photos.
Is he a Muggle-born?
Mm-hmm.
He's not like half and half. He is.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's Muggle-born.
Yeah.
Yep. He's very excited, and he tells Harry, somebody in my class told me that if I develop this in the right potion, the characters will move.
Yeah, he's all about taking photos, that Colin Creevey.
Yeah. Aw, he's so precious.
I know he is so precious.
And then we got good old Ernie Macmillan. He's a Hufflepuff.
A little sassy.
He is.
But sometimes we like a little sassy best friend, so, you know.
I like Ernie.
Ernie.
I like Ernie.
He ends up being a cool character.
Yeah,
so
he is.
sometimes you gotta have somebody around with a little attitude.
Yeah, and I like that we have like more
Other
characters
students
from other houses. Yeah,
yes,
we get a lot of Hufflepuffs in this, and some Slytherins.
Yeah,
So it's nice.
It is. And then we have another Hufflepuff, Justin Finch Fletchley.
That's right.
And he's another Muggle-born. Yeah. I'm not sure Ernie Macmillan.
No, I think Ernie
is just he's comes from a wizarding family. I think
he's a wizarding family child.
Right.
So that brings us up to our major plot points.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Into the plot. So first, we're starting off our story with the worst birthday.
And why is it the worst, you ask? Because he's with the Dursleys.
Yeah, that's right. We're back at Privet Drive, and the Dursleys are still pretty terrible. They did not improve upon their separation from Harry.
No. Absence did not make their hearts grow any fonder.
No. In fact, they actually might have gotten a little worse.
Oh, yes, by far. Mm-hmm.
So, it is Harry's 12th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And he's now in the second bedroom, or like the smallest bedroom.
Yes.
He's no longer in the cupboard under the stairs.
Right.
Which I think happens in the first book.
Yes, he gets the second bedroom. They're thinking that will deter the letters somehow. It doesn't work. But yes, in the first book, different than the movie, he does get moved into that bedroom.
Yeah.
Earlier on. But yes, it's at least they didn't demote him back down to the cupboard. He's still in the bedroom.
Yeah, but his school stuff is locked in the cupboard under the stairs. Because they just don't want him out here meddling with his Hogwarts things.
Right. It's possible that maybe he didn't tell them that you can't do magic outside of school.
Right.
So perhaps he's using that as a tiny bit of leverage for them to be a little bit less horrible to him. Not that it really works.
Right.
But he gets like, a second of glee out of like, like, I like that he teases Dudley when Dudley asks for something or demands something, probably more likely. He's like, you didn't say the magic word. And they're all like, oh, magic. He's like, no, I literally meant please. Like, I actually don't even know he meant to be mean in that moment. But
yeah.
Still, it's just like, get over it.
Come on.
But yeah, but it's Harry's birthday, but they don't give two hoots because Uncle Vernon has a very important client from his drill company coming over for dinner, and that is the main event of the evening.
Yep.
We don't give two crockpots about Harry's birthday.
No. And honestly, they don't ever really.
No. No.
But what he is most upset about, really, is that he hasn't gotten any letters from Ron or Hermione at this point.
Yeah, not Hagrid, no one. He's heard nothing from any of his friends or people that he cares about, so it's pretty bummeroni.
Yeah, so he's sad in that regard.
Yeah.
And he's confused.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Dursleys are being Dursleys.
Right.
And they are rehearsing what they're going to say to these two people that are coming over for dinner.
Right.
And Harry is just supposed to stay in his room.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to pretend he's not even there.
Yeah, they make him repeat over and over, I'll be in my room pretending like I don't exist.
Yep. So that's his role.
So that's super empowering to the emotional nugget inside.
Yeah, a wee little 12-year-old.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't have any emotional impact on him whatsoever.
Oh, none. Zero.
None. So that's where we are
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Next chapter. Dobby's warning.
Yep.
So while being sequestered to his room, making no noise and pretending like he doesn't exist, pardon me, he walks in, there's a house elf on his bed.
Yep.
And he starts by, gushing over Harry. He's heard of his greatness and all this stuff. And he's here to warn Harry not to go back to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry this year because nefarious plans are afoot.
Yeah, bad things are going to happen.
But he won't tell him what, and he won't tell him why.
Right.
And Dobby is sort of trying to allude to things, but anytime he gets kind of close to revealing something he's not supposed to, he harms himself.
Yeah.
So, like, he'll start hitting himself with a lamp, and he's making all these noises, and of course, Uncle Vernon gets mad and comes upstairs and is like, oh, it's the cat,
Yeah.
Gets up there, yells at Harry. Harry's like, my bad.
Sorry.
But, yeah, Dobby is just very adamant that he doesn't want Harry to go back to school. Harry's like, no way, Jose, I'm not sticking with these people for longer than I absolutely have to.
Yep.
So then Dobby proceeds to run into the kitchen, and I think he makes the cake fall on Harry or just fall on the ground. It doesn't get dropped on the woman like it does in the movie.
No, I think it just drops on the ground and then just like kind of splatters
everywhere. Because Aunt Petunia made this beautiful cake, not for Harry's birthday, but for their guests.
Yeah.
And Harry, it seems as if to the family, because, Dobby does it and then disappears.
Right.
Then Harry's just there holding
his hands in the air, essentially.
Holding the whipped cream, as it were.
Right.
And looks very guilty. And then they're like, oh, he's disturbed. And then an owl comes with a letter saying that he's in trouble for using
underage magic.
Yep.
Outside of school.
Yep. And actually, the night could have been salvaged for Uncle Vernon with the cake. The thing that really messed it up was the owl swooping into the house. It freaked out his clients.
Yeah.
Because the guy's wife apparently is deathly afraid of birds.
Right.
They storm out. The letter's revealed. Harry's in trouble for using underage magic.
Yep. He gets
in the
an
presence
official
of
warning.
uncles. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Yikes.
So.
He's not expelled or anything, but yeah, it's an official warning. And then now the Dursleys know that he is not allowed to use magic. So now they're less scared / hesitant around him.
Right.
So their meanness is in full force yet again.
It is. It is. They are so mad that they lock him in his room and put bars on his window.
Psychopaths.
That's incredibly psycho, actually. So,
Especially for a well-behaved boy like Harry Potter. But
I know. He, isn't doing anything.
Nope. And they know he can't use magic now, so...
Right.
What's the point?
It's silly.
So anyway, that brings us to Chapter 3. The Burrow.
The Burrow. So, here we are. Harry's in his room, locked away. He's got a cat flap that Aunt Petunia shoves food in 3 times a day.
And barely can you call that food.
Yeah. So he's just like, what? I think his last thought is, at least whenever it's time for school to start, people will start wondering where he is.
Right.
When he doesn't show up to school.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I guess that's something.
Yeah. And his owl Hedwig is with him. He has to parcel some of his food to feed her because they don't give a crap about that owl.
They don't. So,
they're basically starving him.
Yeah. This is what we like to call child abuse.
To the utmost degree. Yet somehow he still has to stay with these people.
Yeah, I know.
Make it make sense. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
For the story and, I guess, character development, it's just something we have to accept.
It's one of those plot points that you just have to accept and move on.
Right.
It's something that people do kind of get hung up on thinking about it as an adult.
Right.
Looking at it through an adult lens. you're like, yeah, that's child abuse. Why is no one doing anything? Like, why didn't the neighbors see them put bars on this child's window and call, like, social services or something? But, this is a story, and we have to, like, progress through the story, so.
Right. And there are reasons in the book.
Yeah, the reason he has to go back to the Dursleys is because of, like, when Lily died for Harry, that protection is in her blood. Petunia is your sibling is your closest DNA relative of anyone else on Earth. So her protection also would be in Aunt Petunia's blood. So Dumbledore does like the charm. That means when Harry is at Privet Drive, he cannot be taken, or like Voldemort, none of his supporters could get him while he's there.
Right.
So that's the reason.
Right.
But,
someone should be threatening, some adult wizard should be threatening to curse them for being so horrible.
Right. And I think this is explained to Petunia. I'm pretty sure that Dumbledore explains this to her at some point.
Eventually, yes. But
I think even whenever Harry's, like, little, it's explained to her. At least in, like, the letter that Dumbledore leaves with Harry on the doorstep.
It probably just fuels her hatred.
Because I think it's, like, literally the only reason that they keep him.
Probably.
Yeah, so, but, yeah, I do agree that I think whenever it's, like, noticed that they're not really taking good care of him, maybe Dumbledore should have been like, listen, I'm going to know how you treat him. You need to figure it out, because this is not good.
Right.
I'm a wizard.
Right. I know we want to keep him humble and stuff, but this is beyond humble.
I know we want to keep him away from the wizarding world. He's safer not in the wizarding world at this point. We don't want him to grow up with this weird fame. I get that, but you still need to not treat him like he's your servant, and not make him sleep in a cupboard, and
feed him actual food.
Feed him legitimate food.
Not like, oh, we ate pot roast for dinner. Here's bread and butter.
Right.
Now get upstairs.
Right.
I would be thrilled with bread and butter, but to most folks, that is not meal.
A meal. That's a snack.
Right.
So, yeah, I do agree that Dumbledore probably should have showed up and maybe had a little tete-a-tete with the Dursleys, but...
And I think maybe he says something to her later, or there's like a remember Petunia moment later, but...
Yeah, I think I'm listening to book 5 right now, and it happens in book 5.
Okay, so...
And I think at the beginning of book 6, when he actually goes to the Dursleys to talk about, like, Sirius's death, and that Harry has to come back one more time after that, for the protection purposes or whatever, Dumbledore does say, you never treated him like he was your son, you never loved him, you were downright nasty to him, but you did allow him house room, and that's why he's still alive. So he does chastise them, but at that point, Harry's freaking 16 years old. Like, he's,
too little, too late. Could have helped him a little before that, but that
Dumbledore,
gripe is out there now, and we can just continue.
We've addressed the elephant in the room,
right?
And now we can move on,
right?
Yeah. So Harry is just laying in his bed, whatever, and some headlights are shining in his second floor window.
Strange.
That's not a usual occurrence.
No.
So Harry thinks he's dreaming.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm dreaming, but I'm awake.
Hmm.
So, turns out that the Weasleys have a flying car.
Yay.
Duh. And Fred, George, and Ron have stolen it. Not stolen it, but
borrowed.
Snuck it out. They've snuck it out and are gonna bust Harry out.
Right. Ron eventually is thinking, I haven't heard from my best friend all summer. Something is up. I gotta go check on him.
I need to get over there.
Thank goodness for Ronald Weasley.
That's right. And Fred and George, because they're ballsy.
Yeah.
They're not afraid to, let's just get in the car and fly it over.
Heck yeah.
No big deal.
Heck yeah. Yeah, they're great friends to Harry as well, actually.
They really are.
On the Quidditch pitch and just in general.
For real skis.
So yeah, they come, break him loose. It causes pandemonium in the house. We don't care. He finally gets free. And then we get to go to the burrow.
Yep.
And it sounds like the coziest, most wonderful, amazing house on the planet. I want to be adopted. I love my family, but I would love to live in the Weasley house.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're going to pick any Wizarding World family to be a part of, it's the Weasleys.
Absolutely.
Clearly. We don't really see other families, though.
That's true.
I mean, the Lovegoods, which is just Luna and Xenophilius. But we don't really see other good, full Wizarding families.
Yeah.
We see most members of the Black family, but the only one that's, like, good is Sirius. Well, and Regulus at the end, but...
Yeah. And his house is pretty, like, sad.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that house is sick, though.
It probably is really cool looking.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of creepy stuff in there,
The
too.
heads on the walls? No.
Oof.
No.
Oofa doofa.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we just kind of get some... I mean, of course, Molly, like, flips her lid, as she should, because the kids were gone. They took the car that Arthur's not even supposed to have.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Allegedly, he, like, put a spell on this car so that it would fly. We won't say either way. We're not going to incriminate.
Yeah. Allegedly.
So, yeah, she's mad, but, she gets over it. She punishes the boys by making them, like, do chores and stuff. It's fine. But we get to see denoming of the garden, and apparently they have a ghoul in the attic, and we just get to see a little snippets of life in the Weasley household, and it's nice.
It's nice. They're, it's like, obviously the Weasleys do not have a lot of money, so their house is, like, really hodgepodge together, and it says it looks like it started out as, like, a pigsty that was built up and add floor and floor and floor and floor, and then Harry, like, thinks to himself, it looks like it's only held up by magic, and then he's like, oh, right, it probably is, which is true. And he's just, but Ron's like, I know it's not much, and Harry's like, it's the best house I've ever seen.
Yep.
So.
Which is so sweet.
So sweet.
We can move on, but I need to know more about this ghoul. Like, did it just go up there one day? They just, like, let it hang? Like, it's part of the fam now.
Attic.
Yeah.
What's weird about, I'm not really sure exactly what this iteration of a ghoul is supposed to be. Because, like, I've looked up what a ghoul is, like, in, like, mythologically and folklore type situation, and it's like an entity that feeds on children and also steals your coins.
Oh, I was gonna say, I've heard versions where it's like a creature that, like, eats human flesh, not unlike a zombie, but not like a zombie.
Right. Yeah.
So but these just seem kind of, like, lazy and but still kind of frightening. Like, they at some point someone gets mad and they threaten to set the ghoul on someone.
Yeah.
So I just need more facts. I need to get out my Fantastic Beasts somewhere to find them book, because I'm pretty sure ghouls got to be in there, because they're
ghouls
a creature.
Are in there. Yeah, it's a creature.
Yeah.
I think it's like technically a dark creature, maybe.
I would think so.
Gilderoy Lockhart has the book Gadding with Ghouls or whatever.
Yes.
So
I agree.
So we get some burrow time, and then the next chapter is at Flourish and Blots.
Yep.
So the school book lists arrive, and they all need to go to Diagon Alley to get their books. And the Weasleys are stressed a little because there's a lot of Lockhart books on there.
Those things ain't cheap.
And they be expensive.
It's not like one textbook. These are his, like, published works.
It's like his full published works, which that was so self-serving. Like, he's out here
100%.
collecting that coin.
Boosting his book sales.
All of the students of Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Making them buy his full collection.
And I can't even, no. I can't even go here because, he just...
You greedy little bitch.
Yes! Thank you for saying it.
Yes. I've literally never thought about it in that way until this moment right here.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, how many students
and the
in
Weasleys
Hogwarts?
Are not the only family that is, suffering financially. And you're going to require all the... No, Dumbledore, I need you to be headmaster, step in and go, Gilderoy.
One book.
A book.
Not by you.
Right. Something that's going to actually teach these kids something.
Yeah, let's make it a text book.
Yeah.
School textbook.
But nonetheless, lots of books on the list. We got to get our cash coins and go book shopping.
Yep. And Ginny, it's her first year. She's got to get robes. She's got to get a wand. She's got to get a cauldron. She's got to get all the stuff.
All the stuff.
So, it's a tight.
Yep.
It's tight.
But we got to get there first. So we're going to travel via the Floo network, which is where you use something called Floo powder in a fireplace. Mm-hmm. You say your destination, throw down the Floo powder, and zip, zap, zoom, you go from one fireplace to another.
That's right.
Where you intend to go. But you got to speak very clearly.
Yep.
In the movie, they make Harry look like a ding-dong, and he goes... because they're all just speak very clear, and he's all nervous. And he goes, diagonally.
Yeah.
They make him look like a ding-dong. In the book, they're all shouting instructions to him and making him super nervous. Mm-hmm. And then he gets soot in his throat and he coughs, and then he accidentally says the wrong thing. So he looks a little less ding-dongish.
Yeah. So he doesn't land in Diagon Alley.
No.
He goes to Nocturne Alley.
Oopsie. He ends up in a shop called Borgin and Burke's. And Nocturne Alley, if you kind of can't tell, is for darker wizards that are into more nefarious magic, Mm-hmm. So, and who does Harry glimpse enter the shop but Draco Malfoy and Lucius Malfoy?
Luscious Lucius.
Lucius is... I can't decide. Lucius? I think in the movie they say Lucius, so I guess I'm just going to go with that one.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Because my brain just can't reconcile the two. He's trying to get rid of some things because the Ministry is doing some raids, and he doesn't want to be caught with some of this paraphernalia he shouldn't be having.
Yeah, it just wouldn't look good.
Right. So keep that in mind, because he is not an upstanding citizen of society like he likes to pretend.
No, he isn't.
But Harry makes his way out. He, bumps into Hagrid, who's there, but he's getting flesh-eating, slug-repellent stuff because they're eating the cabbages at the school or something like that.
Yeah, and he's like, Harry, what in the world?
Right.
Why are you here?
Right. But eventually we meet up with everyone, Hermione included.
Yeah, her parents are there.
Yeah. We do, before we go into the bookstore, we do go to Gringotts.
Yeah.
And they kind of mention going to the Weasley's vault and how she basically just scrapes out everything that's left in there. Yeah. That broke my heart.
It really did.
But they never, what I love is things are tight, but they are all still very fulfilled. I mean, not, sometimes you can see the want, but they still have a very good home.
Yeah. I think J.K. does a really good job of writing, Percy, Fred and George, Ron and Ginny, how they grapple with growing up in a poor family.
Right. And in a family with many siblings.
Yeah.
Too, but,
so I think she writes that really well.
Yeah, I think so too. But then, of course, Harry, feels bad because then he has this huge vault full of tons of money. But in his defense, he hasn't really had to spend it on much because he
didn't know about it.
Right. And it's supposed to last him a while. So the pile may be big now, but eventually he's going to have to start contributing when he becomes an adult because surely the fortune won't last forever. Maybe it will. I don't know how, bankrolled his parents were. But at the moment, he's got a vault full of money, and he just feels terrible.
Yeah.
He tries to kind of hide it and gets his money. But then we do that. We go to the bookstore. All kinds of shenanigans ensue.
Shit hits the fan hard here.
We meet Gilderoy. He's full of himself and pretentious. Grabs Harry for a photo op because they're both famous.
Yeah.
Gilderoy thinking that he's more famous than Harry. Laughable.
Which is hilarious, yeah.
Foolish man. And then, of course, we have a run-in between the Weasleys and the Malfoys, just throwing shade back and forth. Even the adults get in on it. Like, Lucius is, like, even mocking the kids and messing with their school books and just being a total turd. So Arthur gets mad.
Throws a punch, man.
I like to see an Arthur Weasley that, you know, scraps a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. He's not afraid, you know? I mean, Lucius is over here, like, talking some shit to Ginny.
Yeah. She's a child, man.
She's little bitty.
Ugh. But then Hagrid kind of steps in and is like, hey, stop this.
Let's separate you two.
Yeah. Let's use our heads in front of the children.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, everyone after the fight goes their respective ways. And
right. We finish our shopping, secondhand or otherwise.
Right.
And get all the things that we need.
Yeah. And I do think, because Lockhart gives Harry his full works.
For free, which Harry kindly does give to Ginny. So that's one less set.
That they have to buy. Yeah. Because Harry's like, I'll just buy my own.
Yeah. I'd also be like, can the three of us just share? We can't read all of these at one time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, one.
Silly.
It's ridiculous. But
silly.
Yeah. So next is the Whomping Willow. So it's time to get to school.
Yep. We got to get on the train. Got to get back to Hogwarts.
Yep. So we hop in the car that may or may not have a extendable charm in it where it's a little bigger on the inside.
And Molly has no idea. She gets in. She's just like, man, this thing is a lot bigger than it looks on the outside.
I love she has muggles really know how to make spacious cars or something to that effect. And I was just like, you keep living in that, you know, denial bliss, my dude, because don't stress yourself with it.
Yeah, as they say. Ignorance is bliss.
They say it for a reason, and it's true.
Yeah, the only thing worse than not knowing the truth is knowing the truth.
Boom. You still got it.
Yep. I learned that is a line from an episode of Beverly Hills 90210.
Sorry.
Jason Priestley says it.
Nice.
That was my mom and my Aunt Sarah's favorite show.
That's amazing.
When I was little. Like, I think it started in like 89 or 90. So I was literally born in 90. So my first like 5 years of life, I would watch it with my Aunt Sarah and my mom every single week.
Aw, that's awesome.
Sometimes things just are randomly in there. I watched like weird shows as a kid.
I did too.
Like Beverly Hills 90210 every week. And when I went to kindergarten, my dad would get me off the bus every day, and we would watch Baywatch and Walker, Texas Ranger. So
I remember watching Baywatch. I know Walker, Texas Ranger was probably on, but I didn't watch that one. But yeah,
I think Baywatch came on, and then Walker, Texas Ranger came on right after it when I would get off the bus from school.
That's great.
Yeah, and my Aunt Sarah, she was still in high school when I think she graduated when I was like 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
So, she was my babysitter.
Yeah.
And so I just hung out with her and her friends a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, like, my favorite song was Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
When I'm like 5 years old.
Heck yeah.
My 2 favorite songs were Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson and Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Very nice.
Yeah.
No wonder you're so cool. Dang it.
Oof. You know, I was like an adult immediately.
Right, the building blocks.
Yeah. This is why I never really watched like cartoons. And it's probably why I don't like adult cartoons.
See, and I watched cartoons, and loved every minute of it. But I don't really care for adult cartoons either.
Yeah.
There are those cartoons that are kind of in the middle. It's like, it's just a good story. It's not for, like, babies, but it's not, like, adult content,
Mm-hmm.
if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
I like the ones that sit right there in the middle. It's just a good story, good animation, you know.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
I think now I would watch cartoons if they were based around a story that I... Like, if Harry Potter was a cartoon, I would watch it and love it.
Right.
We've talked about that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like a lot of high fantasy series, it would be much better served if they were animated.
Yeah.
As in, like, an anime style, I think would be really beautiful to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously, the big one on the front right now is, like, Akatar is supposed to be, like, in pre-production or pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposedly signed for Hulu, which I don't know if that would be my choice.
Are they going to cut out all the sauce?
Which I feel like would really alienate the fan base of that series.
True, but at the same time, like, reading it's one thing and then seeing it is another. And if you're wanting to see it, then that's a different genre of film. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking this needs to be a safe for TV version.
Yeah. If it's going to be on Hulu, there's definitely not going to be any full frontal male nudity.
There shouldn't be any at all.
I feel like the best option for that story, especially the later books where it does get a lot more spice in there, and there's a lot of focus on, like, male genitalia, they really should have shot their shot with HBO or Showtime.
That does seem to fit that sort of,
like,
demographic / style of storytelling.
I just think it would make more sense. I would probably still watch it, and it's part of the story, and you're expecting it, so it's not like it's just gonna pop up on the screen. You're like, oh my god, there's a dick. Like, it's not just gonna be like that. You know that it's coming.
Yeah.
That's poor phrasing. Either way, you're expecting it.
Yeah.
So it's not a shock.
Yeah.
And a lot of the demographic of those books, that's what they're there for.
Is the spice.
A lot of people that read that, like, that's light spice for the type of books that they read. A lot of them read... It's, like, very... like, it gets way, way more. I read... There's one series, and we could take this out. One series called From Blood and Ash. I'm sure you've heard of it.
I think I've definitely seen it on, like, the Instagram book stuff.
It's very, like, book talk-ish.
Yeah.
And I have read 2 of those. I think there's 4 or 5 in the series. I've read 2, maybe. I've read 2 and started a 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, they're very poorly written. Like, the writing is just bad.
Yeah.
Bad.
Really?
It's, yeah.
Why are they... Is it just popular because of the spice?
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yucky.
But yeah, it's very gratuitous, and there's a lot of ick factor.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, it's just not good.
Yeah.
But it's, like, heavily loved.
Yeah.
For its, like, explicit content.
Interesting. I'm a big arguer for I feel that most nudity is unnecessary in television and film. You know, there's a lot of things that you can allude to and get the point across without having to stare at things that should be left behind doors. Yeah. Closed doors. But that's just me personally. I understand the human body is
the human body. Yeah.
But at the same time, I just think that you can artistically allude to things without having to just boom. Yeah. Boobs and butt and bits and things. You know, like, if your story can't stand alone without those things,
You did not write a good story.
Correct. Which I actually like the ACOTAR books for the story. I'm not there for the spice. That was just like a
bonus.
A thing for
an
extra. An extra,
Yeah.
yeah. It feels almost dirty being like it's a bonus. But yeah, it's just an added part of the story, and it reflects the passion between the characters.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with it. I'm not running around in the streets reading it aloud, So
yeah. And it's like until like the last book, it isn't that prevalent.
No, and in the last book, they could take it out, and I feel like in all of them, really, it would still be a good story. I feel like some people don't feel that way. Perhaps the person I'm looking at. But there are aspects to the story that I think, and maybe if they took out the spice, then they could have expanded on the other parts of the story and maybe made it a bit better written for,
Yeah.
for higher standards. But
yeah.
I like what they're trying to do in just like the regular story with the different things. I find it interesting, like the cauldron and the queens and just the different stuff. Like I think there's something really cool there. But yeah, I do think that most people are there for the spice.
I think so. And I see that a lot on like TikTok whenever people are talking about like reading ACOTAR, and then they're questioning whether they should read Throne of Glass or not, because there is very little of that in Throne of Glass.
It doesn't happen until like the 4th book, maybe?
The 5th.
5th. Okay, even later.
Yeah.
And really in the order that I read them in, then it was probably the 6th.
Yeah. And it's really one scene.
Right.
And it's not that explicit either.
No, and I think that it's sprinkled in occasionally after that. And again, they're not super explicit like they quickly get in the ACOTAR series.
Yeah.
But yeah, Throne of Glass is, story-wise, obviously, even much more deep and just a fuller, better story.
Yeah.
I like both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Or the different stories. I enjoy both the different stories, but like as a series, Throne of Glass has a deeper, wider just world and lore, and it doesn't lean as hard on the crutch of spice. But I don't I'm good with stories that are very action based, and I'm good with stories that are very character based. I'm good with both. It's kind of nice to read the different ones. So I like that she kind of did that differently in those two different series.
I do think it's interesting
because it's the same author.
And I really think that I would have liked the ACOTAR series more had I read it first.
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't have known what to expect going in, and I wouldn't have had any expectations, and I feel like I could have liked it more.
Right.
But the whole time I was reading it, I just kept thinking, I don't like Farah as much as I like Selena.
Yeah.
I don't like these other like, why are the female characters in the story so weak? Why are they not like as cool as all of the Throne of Glass ladies? Like,
they're a bit more emotionally traumatized by the things in their life than I would say the Throne of Glass girls. They kind of rise up and beyond a bit faster, whereas we kind of watch the ACOTAR girls struggle through.
Yeah, and I feel like the ACOTAR girls can lean very damsel in distress for me. Like, they don't and I know that not every female character needs to be a save herself girl, but I just feel like the Throne of Glass girls are girls, and I am a girl's girl, and the ACOTAR girls are like guys' girls, because I mean, Farah doesn't hang out with another female character in the first book at all.
Yeah.
And in the second book, she hangs out with Moore and Amryn like a little, but really it's just about her being with Rhysand.
Yeah.
And I just really like a story about like girls who are just being friends with each other.
Yeah.
It just, like, feels... I guess maybe it's because I don't need to read a romance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I gravitate towards.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
That's probably it. It's
Yeah.
just... I know that that's my, like, not my preference.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I those are very valid points. Like I said, like I kind of like both types of stories,
Yeah.
but I totally get the argument and the just not caring for that kind of story, and that's okay.
Yeah, and I just, if the main character, I want to, like, be really, like, vibed with the main character.
Yeah.
Like, I want...
Gotta identify with them to
wanna,
make yourself really invested.
Yeah, I want to
sometimes.
feel like I'm going to hang out with you. We're going to kick it. We're going to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a good time. We're going to have fun. And I just felt like Feyre, I just felt like she wouldn't be that good of a time.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily want to hang out with her.
I get it. Yeah.
And I feel like I would hang out with Selena. I would hang out with Elide. I would hang out with Irene. I would hang out with Nehemia. I would hang out with Manon and all of the 13.
I would so want to hang out with Manon. I don't know if she'd want to hang out with me. But
the 13 t-shirt right now.
Yep.
So I would hang out with literally even like Maeve.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I would hang out with her too. She might be like, evil, but...
You make very good points.
Yeah.
You really do. And yeah, I do agree that that Throne of Glass is far superior.
Yeah. I don't know. And also, all of the fantasy I had read up to that point is Epic Journey style.
Right.
So, I just fell right into it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Makes
sense to me.
So, anyway.
That could be its own Fandom Friday episode right there.
I know, it really could be.
We can just take the snippet and save it. And add it with some more later.
Yeah. We'll just pull out little chunks from episodes when we get off on fandom tangents. Knit them together and they're Fandom Friday.
Call them like Fandom Follies or something. Or I don't know. Far off fandom.
Oh, yeah.
When we get far off topic.
Which is always.
Always. We can't help ourselves.
It just happens. When you're, like, talking about, like, especially talking about books, because you get into one point in a book and then you have to, like, compare it to something else.
Right.
And then you end up over here and you are just like, wait, how did I get here?
I will admit to you, I'm a little thankful I'm not editing this episode. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll help you if you need me to.
Nah.
You're like, I got this.
I'm down for the challenge.
Yeah, you got this in the bag.
Yeah. It'll go off.
Yeah, you got this.
You know, I did see a trick that some people use. Once you, like, really get down editing, you can speed up the audio.
Oh.
So instead of editing it at, like,
real
normal
time,
speed, you
1.5 or 2.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like 2 would probably be too fast. But
Agreed.
You could definitely do 1.5.
Yeah. And I think the only thing that would mess me up on 1.5 is, like, maybe getting the spacing right, like if there's pauses, but but you get to know, like, the look of it.
Yeah, you do.
You know?
You really do.
And I not struggle with it, but it's like sometimes you need a pause because it's like part of the sentence and it just...
Yeah.
And then other times it's like, okay, that one's just a little too long.
Yeah. There is an art to editing.
There is.
Like, understanding when to, like, make a sentence, like, when to take out the pauses, when to leave them in, when to, like, leave other background noise in, because we are sitting in a room where noise is happening.
I did get to cut, like, some good spots of, like, coughs and bumps and stuff in this last episode. I was pretty proud of myself. I was like, if I could just isolate it, and I was able to, so I was like, yes, wait, yes. I did, again, like I did in the first Harry Potter episode, when I said Dumbledore instead of Voldemort. I'm hoping that, like, our listeners knew what I meant.
Yeah.
Because it was a pretty big statement about Voldemort, and I said Dumbledore.
It was like very obvious to me that you meant Dumbledore.
Good. Well, I did it again in the love match. I said Niam twice when I meant Haroon, and I don't know that it would have been fully clear, so I actually
cut it.
I cut I didn't. I felt like I wanted to leave the sentence in there, so I cut out the word Niam and I put in the word Haroon, but I couldn't find the right inflected word Haroon. So it's gonna sound a little goofy, but I'd rather the right name be in there than leave it and just hope people know what I meant. So you'll hear it when you listen to it, and it might make you giggle, but it's what I felt like I needed to do.
And I do think, like, in instances like that, you could just put one in there that it's still, like, Haroon, but it's very obviously not part of that sentence.
Yeah, and it does
make it really funny.
You might think it flows okay-ish. I think it sounds so incredibly obvious, but like I said, I wasn't going to search 3 hours worth of sounds to find the right Haroon. I was like, this one works better out of the 3 that I've found in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not working for perfection. I do want it to be good, but...
Yeah. And
so when you hear it, let me know.
And that book is so much more obscure. Like, in a Harry Potter, everyone will hear that sentence and know exactly what character you're talking about, no matter what you said.
Right.
Because it's just so much more prolific.
Right.
The Love Match came out this year.
Right. So. And so I felt it was important to say Haroon.
Yeah. So, that makes sense.
I was able to cut one of them in the sentence. I was like, well, as I'm continuing to talk, I didn't need to say his name again, so that'll be fine. But the first one, so it's like, so she went to go talk to Haroon? It's almost better this way, I think. But,
that's hilarious.
But like I said, I can't wait for you to hear it and let me know your thoughts.
Now I'm going to be, like, looking out for it.
Yeah.
Just see if I can spot.
Right. I won't even tell you when it is.
Too bad this episode is coming out after that one, or we could, like, play a game. Like, see if you can spot the insert.
Right. So now we're on our way to platform 9 3/4.
Yes.
In the Fort Anglia.
Yep.
And we get there. We're rushing. You know.
They're late.
They're chronically, almost late.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all the time. But it's just part of their charm.
It is.
So they get there. All the siblings go through the platform at 9 3/4. If you forgot, you take your cart, you go at a bit of a run, you run through the wall, you get to the other side.
Yep.
Obviously, Arthur and Molly go with Ginny because it'll be her first time. The boys go, no problem. And then it's Harry and Ron's turn. Run, slam, crash, suitcases on the ground. Hedwig is looking ticked to the max because she's like, what in the world, you slammed me into a wall and then on the ground? What is happening?
Yeah, she's squawking.
Yeah. The boys, Ron and Harry, cannot get through the barrier.
They're like, what?
Right. So they're like, oh, what do we do? Oh, the train is gone because the train leaves at exactly
11
on time.
Yes.
So they're like, how are we going to get to school? So they get the bright idea to take the car. And again, I just have to pause for 1 second. Okay, so you can't get through. You don't want to wait 10 minutes to see if Molly and Arthur, like, apparate to your side, because they're stuck. They can't probably get back through the barrier.
Right.
But then surely they would be concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, are they busy chit-chatting with other parents, perhaps? But it's like, you don't want to wait for surely they're going to apparate to where you are when they can't get through the barrier. Why didn't you wait? But obviously the reason for this is because we need the story to go where it's going to go.
Yeah.
100% I get that. But my logical brain for the first time was like, why didn't we just wait for Mom and Dad?
Yeah. And I think the point is made even, like, later that Harry has an owl. Why couldn't he have just sent the owl, like, hey, the barrier was closed. We couldn't get through.
Right. Yeah.
Like, come get us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. I think Snape makes that point, obviously.
Yes. Him or McGonagall.
Could have been McGonagall. Well, it was one of the two, for sure.
But their idea is fine. But again, you're going to send an owl all the way to Hogwarts. Mom and Dad are, like, on the other side of this barrier. Surely they're going to get to you first.
Exactly.
But I step back from my little tiny soapbox.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those things where I have to remind myself that this book was written for children.
Right. And the story has to move along in a certain way. And if we don't get the car to the school,
then it can't pop up later.
And we're done skis.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It had to happen. So the boys get the bright idea, take the car, they drive it all the way to school, and they slam into
the Whomping Willow.
Oof. And the willow is not happy, is it, Maddie?
No, it hits back. Hence the whomping.
Right. It's not just a name for kicks.
Right.
It actually punches.
Mm-hmm. And Ron's wand breaks.
Yes. Unfortunate for him. Very unfortunate for him.
Very unfortunate. And who finds them? Snape.
Of course.
Of course he finds them.
I think he's almost thrilled about it. He's
yeah.
I got you this time.
This is it.
Right. I think in the movie, Filch finds them, and he has the same sentiment. Oh, dear, we are in trouble.
Yeah.
Those two men just, delight in...
Yeah.
And no wonder these kids are terrified. They're literally being threatened with expulsion at every turn. There's no... They hardly say, oh, I'll give you detention. The threat is always, you're going to get expelled if you step out of line again.
Yeah. Man.
We skip verbal warnings and all that stuff. We just straight to expulsion.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get in trouble. Snape's giving them the what for. Then luckily Dumbledore steps in and is like, well, they're in McGonagall's house. She gets to decide. Yeah. So she gives them detention.
Yep.
They get to eat some sandwiches in her office.
They do not get to go to the feast because they don't want them parading around that they flew a car to school.
Right. But Ginny got sorted. As we said earlier, she is in Gryffindor just like all the other Weasleys.
All the other Weasleys.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Yep.
And then, they get to their dorm eventually and,
mm-hmm.
normal
Hogwarts stuff.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Awesome.
And then we get to the first day of classes.
Learn me some magic.
That's right. Hermione is a little miffed at Harry and Ron for their antics with the car.
Yeah.
But then the mail comes and Ron gets a howler.
Oof.
From his mom. How dare you steal that car?
I am absolutely disgusted. I can't quote the book one, but I can definitely quote the movie one.
Yeah.
Your father is now facing an inquiry at work, and it's entirely your fault. If you put another toe out of line, you're coming straight home.
I think they do lift it from the page.
I think it's pretty close. I think it's
least.
maybe a little different, but yes, it's perfectly done.
Yeah.
By Molly Weasley telling her son what for. He's in big darn trouble.
That's right. Side note, there is a YouTube video, Ed Sheeran has a YouTube video, and there's the first comment underneath it, because Rupert Grint is in it.
In the video.
And the first comment is the Molly Weasley howler quote. It's so funny.
That's amazing.
I don't know what song it is, but...
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Because there are so many memes out there where Ed Sheeran is just, inserted in a picture of the Weasleys.
Right. They're like, oh, he's Charlie. Because we see Charlie in the Egypt picture at one point, but, we never meet Charlie in the movies, ever. So... Yeah.
There's a lot of characters. Well, Charlie and Peeves. Winky.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Winky is such a loss.
Who else don't we meet? There are a few others. Yeah.
There's a ton. But yes, it's always a big side joke that, Ed Sheeran, the redhead, belongs in the Weasley family.
Yeah.
So, so great. But yeah, howlers are a note that scream at you in front of everyone, complete embarrassment. But because of that, Hermione is a little softer and nicer to the guys. Kind of okay, he got...
You've had your punishment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Justice has been served, even though you're my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, you've been punished enough. Okay, I'll be nice to you now.
Yeah. She hasn't fully gone over to the rule-breaking side yet.
Right.
Not far, though.
She's pretty close.
Coming up on it.
Yep, yeah, she is.
So stay tuned for that. We get to go to herbology where they're studying mandrakes.
Screamy little cabbage baby plants.
Yeah, they're strange plants, but, their cries can kill. So they have to wear earmuffs.
Yep. The babies luckily only make you pass out, but a full-grown mandrake, instant dead if you hear the cry.
Get you. So we get to do that. That's when we meet Justin Finch Fletchley.
Yep.
He's sharing like a tray with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And, he's just chit-chatting it up.
About his Muggle upbringing and just, he was being a little Hogwarts student.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get to meet Lockhart again.
Yes, now we're in class.
What is Gilderoy Lockhart's favorite color?
What is his secret ambition? Who do you think got all of the questions to the pop quiz correct?
Hermione.
And not only because she's just smarty McSmart pants, but she got a little crush.
She got a crush on Gilderoy.
Like, I guess everybody does, because, if you ain't winning the Which Weekly Smile of the Year award if you're an unattractive person, I guess. I mean, you could, but it just seems like if you have an award like that, it's fairly vain in nature.
Yeah. Yeah, you're probably a looker.
Yeah, so
I will say that they had Kenneth Branagh play him, and he just played him so silly that I don't know how anyone could find him attractive.
Right. But I think that to the audience that would swoon over, I don't see him being someone that a child would be like, oh my God.
Right.
But, like, adult women, I could see him being, like, that sort of, like, soap opera star kind of attractive to them. And that he kind of acts like a soap opera star.
Yeah,
so,
he
but
does.
Kenneth Branagh with his heavy Shakespearean background plays this character masterfully.
He does. And I think you see that a lot with British actors in general. They just have because I think a lot of them, especially those in the age range of Kenneth Branagh, are very Shakespearean in their acting roots.
Yeah, have a theater background for sure.
Yeah, very theater forward, so they have so much more bravado in their
and this character needs it, and he
needs it a lot, yeah.
Caps off. He lets loose with the wild behavior.
Yeah, he's full of riz.
Right.
In my mind,
so cool.
In my mind, Gilderoy Lockhart has zero riz.
But he thinks
else who's buying his books, all the middle-aged Molly Weasleys of the world, got the most riz.
Yeah, it made me so sad that she fell for his quote-unquote charms as well. I'm like, Molly, you're smarter than this.
Molly! I'm trying to think of who I had a crush on when I was 12 to compare of thinking of how Hermione is has such a crush on Gilderoy. What was I doing at 12? Who did I have a crush on? Probably Tom DeLonge from Blink-182.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
He had a lip ring. I
had a Jonathan Taylor Thomas poster on my wall where he was wearing he was sitting on a stool with a sweater vest. But then I also liked, Justin Timberlake. But then I also liked AJ from Backstreet Boys, the angsty looking one.
Oh, yeah. In a boy band.
Yeah, yeah.
I was definitely a Backstreet Boys girl, 8, 9. And I was definitely a Nick Carter fan. He was the one I had the crush on. All of the other ones looked too much like men, I think. And as a 9-year-old girl, Nick Carter still looked young to me.
Him and Howie. Howie had a baby face too.
Yeah, yeah. So I was the Nick Carter.
Yeah. Hey, I get it. Yeah, I liked Lance Bass and Justin Timberlake.
I still love Lance Bass as a person.
Yeah,
I wasn't ever really an NSYNC fan, but
I did not discriminate between the two. I loved them both. 98
Mm-hmm.
Degrees was fine, but
I didn't ever. I knew NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, and I knew of 98 Degrees. I didn't really like listen to any of their stuff,
Yeah.
but I was like,
it was
definitely
fine.
a Backstreet Boys girl.
Heck
And
yeah.
Spice Girls girl.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, Spice
Spice
Girls
up your
girl.
life.
That's what's up. Spice World? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My grandma rented that movie for me. Sorry, Mom, but yeah, my mom didn't want me to...
See it?
She didn't want me to listen to them, but I had the cassette tape, but I must have, like, gotten it before she, like, heard their songs or something. and then, yeah, the movie came out, and she really didn't want me to watch it, but my grandma rented it for me. And it's very innocent,
It's so innocent.
But it just, yeah.
I loved it. It was
like, fun. It was silly.
Their bus that they had, and they all had their own little, like, themed little spots in the bus. I was like, oh my, get out of here.
Yeah, it was silly, but so great.
So
Amazing.
great. I haven't watched it. Oh my God. I haven't watched it since I was an actual child, so I don't know. But my sisters and I used to watch it all the time. And, yeah.
It's completely unbook related, but maybe
Totally.
we could do a fun non-book related movie episode where we discuss.
Oh, yeah. Spice World. I would watch it. I'm guessing it doesn't hold up, but I will.
Likely not, but I bet it's still a fun ride.
I bet I still know all the songs.
Oh, 100%. They're embedded into your brain.
For sure. I remember I always, dance classes were usually like during the school year, but you could always take like a summer class or whatever. I always took ballet in the summer. And during summer warm-ups, we got to listen to Spice Girls during
nice.
the warm-ups. But in regular classes, no. That's when we're serious.
That teacher also knew, like, they didn't want to hear the parent complaints.
That's right.
In school.
Yeah, and in the summer ballet class that I took, there were like 3 or 4 of us. Mm-hmm. So it was a lot more relaxed.
Right.
But whenever you were in regular classes, no, you were listening to Tchaikovsky, and that is it.
Oh, dang. Those are wildly different.
Very different.
Right.
Ballet is serious.
Right. Serious. But you know who's not serious?
Gilderoy Lockhart.
Gilderoy Lockhart. I am the Segway queen.
So true.
No.
Facts.
No. But yeah, he's ridiculous. He, gives them that dumb pop quiz. All about him, of course. And then he pulls out the lesson for the day, which is...
Cornish pixies.
Cornish pixies. Freshly caught Cornish pixies. So he gets the bright idea to let them loose.
He just, releases them.
Yeah, and in the book, they don't even mock him like they do in the movie. They're just kind of like, oh, whoa, Cornish pixies,
Hey.
okay, And maybe they're a little like, what? But I really don't remember them being mocking at all.
No.
He's just like, all right, let's see what you make of them. Lets them out. And they're causing all kinds of havoc.
Yeah.
His punk butt just skirt right out of the room.
Yeah.
He's like, I trust you 3, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, to take care of this for me.
Clear these up.
Yep, and he's out. So they got to take care of it. They do, because they're little rock stars.
That's what they do.
But this man's already showing his true quality of character.
Yeah. We know immediately that this guy he's a fraud.
Oh, yeah.
He's incompetent to the maximum degree.
Yeah. There are certain things he's good at, but it ain't Defense Against the Dark Arts.
He's like one of the only characters that we get that shows that not all Ravenclaws are, super brainy.
Yeah. But he is witty in the way that he goes about his schemes.
Yes.
So that must be... But that's more of a Slytherin ambition thing. But every person kind of has aspects of each house.
Yeah.
It's just...
Which one do you,
right.
exemplify the most? Or which one do you value the most, I think probably is it.
Yeah. And maybe when he was younger, he was less of a turd.
Maybe.
And then he just grew into it and then got full of himself. And,
Yeah.
here he is today.
Here he is. Yeah, we clean up the pixies, and now we're going on to our next chapter, Mudbloods and Murmurs.
That's such a good chapter title.
It is a really good chapter title. So we open this with Oliver Wood.
Love Oliver Wood.
Love me some Oliver Wood. He wakes up the Quidditch team at like the crack of dawn for practice.
Yep.
It's like, let's hit it.
Eat, sleep, breathe, Quidditch.
That's right.
This is his motto, his life, his existence, his Quidditch.
Whole existence. And so the whole team, they're going to the Quidditch pitch, and Colin Creevey, he's tagging along. I don't know how he knew that they were all awake going to practice, but he's on it, and he is just pestering Harry with questions.
His little baby stalker skills are on high alert.
Yeah.
Do you think he read about Harry in like books and articles or something? Like,
I think so. I think he probably like got his letter. I'm assuming, because we don't ever really get to know what the process is for Muggle-born kids. We only know Harry's experience.
Right.
Which is very different, I'm 100% sure, than your typical like Muggle-born kid.
Right. Well, Hagrid had to come get him. So if you don't have someone come get you and explain everything,
right.
Do you have an extra letter that's like, this is where you go for your supplies.
Yeah.
This is how you get onto the platform.
I'm
just going to tell myself that's what happens.
I think, thinking about, like, whenever we go back into the memories in Half-Blood Prince, and it shows Dumbledore going to the orphanage to talk to Tom about Hogwarts and all of this, I think that's probably standard for people.
I was going to say, do you think there's a
raised in the Wizarding
representative
world. Yes.
from the school? That makes sense to me.
I think, yes, that would be what my guess is. So someone probably went to Colin Creevey's house and was like, he's a wizard, this is our school, blah, blah, blah. And maybe while they were in Diagon Alley getting his school stuff, he, like, got some other extra stuff.
Because Harry's in a couple books, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure.
But I
think Hermione also knew him.
Yeah. I bet that he was, like, getting school supplies and, like, maybe he met some new, like, little wizard friends or something. Or he heard, like, a group of kids talking. They were like, oh, my God, that's the famous Harry Potter. And then maybe he just got, like, jazzed from there. Yeah. But whatever ignited this passion for following Harry Potter, Colin Creevey has got it.
He got the bug. And now he's pestering the real Harry.
Right, asking him for pictures and asking him to sign them, which causes all manner of issue.
Yeah, and he's like asking Harry about Quidditch and what are the rules and what are the balls for and who are the players and how does it go and blah, blah, blah.
Which, that was just an excuse for a recap on how Quidditch works for the reader.
Yes, of course.
But cleverly done.
It works out.
It works.
It doesn't feel too like
recappy.
Yeah. Yeah. So Colin, he's just so cute.
I know.
So we get to enjoy a little Colin Creevey, and then unfortunately the Slytherins show up.
They slither in with their nonsense. I couldn't help
it. So they show up, and what do you know? Malfoy is their new Seeker.
Of course.
And why is he their new Seeker? Because his filthy rich dad bought the whole team new Nimbus 2001s.
Right. Which is so funny because last book, Draco was complaining that his dad wouldn't buy him, or was like complaining that Harry had a Nimbus 2000 or something. Mm-hmm. If your dad can buy a whole Quidditch team, a bunch of brooms, I'm going to need you to shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
You brat.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Daddy Malfoy buys the whole team the newest, fastest broom on the current market. Yeah.
I was trying to think if there was a way for me to make Lucius's name like in the reel I saw, like Bull Daddy and Dumble Daddy. I don't think Lucius lends itself to that.
No. See, I think I just call him, yeah, we're just going to go with Lucius because it's easier than Lucius.
Lucius.
Ugh.
Lucius
It feels
Daddy?
more
I
snacky.
don't know.
Well, Luscious
Blow.
Lucius.
Luscious Lucius. It's got to be that.
Yeah.
I mean, that has to be someone's porn name, right?
Oh, God.
It has to
I don't want to think about
I don't want to Google it because then
Oh,
God only
don't.
knows what's going to come up then. But
Don't do that.
I feel like it has to be. Listeners, please, if you're willing to Google it,
no.
please tell us. Is this the name of a real porn actor?
Oh, my God,
I feel
don't
like
do
it has
it.
to be. There's no way it's not. Or maybe it's like a stripper name, like a male stripper name.
Yeah. Well, if you don't want to do Luscious Lucius, let's think.
I was just trying to stay with the theme of adding daddy on the end of it.
Right.
But I don't think there's any way to do that with Lucius.
Yeah.
Because it's not... Because Dumbledore has that D in
Yeah.
it, and Voldemort also has the D in it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Nope.
I mean, there's
not gonna do it.
other ways to say daddy, but I don't know that any of them would work.
No.
We might just have to let that one lie.
I think that one has to lie. Sorry, Lucius. Couldn't get it done.
So sorry.
So, now we're going to get into the hubbub.
Right.
So, Oliver Wood is like, hey, I booked this for us.
Yep.
We got up early. We're here. We were here first. I booked this.
Yep.
And the captain of the Slytherin team is like, well, I have a letter from Snape.
Yep. And then Malfoy starts throwing slurs.
Yeah. Calls Hermione a mudblood.
Which is not okay.
Not good.
Ron gets angry immediately
Super mad.
and tries to make curse Draco to eat slugs, but of course his sweet little broken wand that's fixed by spello tape backfires and he's barfing slugs instead.
Yep.
But he tried.
He tried. He was indignant on her behalf. And unlike the movie, Hermione has no idea what this word means.
No, she just knows. She can tell it's mean and bad.
Contextually, she's picking up the clues, but
Right.
she doesn't know actually what kind of a slur it is.
Right. And Harry obviously doesn't either.
Yeah, Harry's
and
just like...
yeah, and between slug barfs, Ron explains to them what it is and what it means. Once they take him to Hagrid's to,
Yeah.
get
Better
it out of
out
his
than
system.
in.
Yeah, yep. He said it before Shrek, okay?
That's right.
I'm pretty sure.
I think this book was before Shrek.
I was going to say check me, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think Shrek was like 2000.
My beloved Hagrid said it first.
That's right.
But yeah, so
Yeah, Mudblood, just...
quote unquote dirty blood, basically just anyone who's muggle born
Yep.
and not, of wizarding lineage.
Yep.
He's just being magicist, racist,
A purist.
purist. That's what they call it, a purist.
Yeah, he's a...
A piece of trash,
We could say he's racist. I think it's supposed to emulate, like, racist beliefs.
Right.
So, yeah. Draco? Prejudice to the maximum.
Yep. Trash bag maximum.
Not acceptable.
No. But of course, Hagrid encourages her.
Yeah.
There's not a spell that Hermione can't do. I'm pretty sure he says it in the book as well as the movie.
I think he does.
He's just sweet and wonderful, and everyone feels better, and
Yeah.
Ron eventually stops.
Barfing slugs.
Yeah.
And this, I think, is one of the first times where Ron's knowledge is given to Hermione in the film. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of... I get that she's the smartest girl and can read just about everything in a book, but that's what Ron's purpose is. Ron is their gateway into the wizarding world.
Yeah.
Harry and Hermione both did not grow up in the wizarding world, and so Ron is sort of their resource when they're together for those types of things.
Right, exactly. So
And it gets to show that he is smart and aware of the world he lives in, rather than letting someone else explain his entire upbringing to him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculousness.
It's ridiculous. So, yeah. They served their detentions in this chapter as well.
Oh, right.
Harry.
I forgot because Ron is still barfing slugs during his detention.
Yeah. Harry is helping Lockhart answer his fan mail.
Oh, God.
Which is so funny.
That is such a punishment.
Oh, God. And he, like, when McGonagall is telling them about their detentions, he's like, because Ron is cleaning the trophies in the trophy room.
Yeah. He's like, can't I do that with him? She's like, no, you're not hanging out together during detention.
And she's like, Lockhart requested you specifically.
Of course he did.
Sure.
Right.
Because at this point, Lockhart thinks that he's given Harry a taste of the limelight and he's after it now.
Right. Even though Harry already had the limelight more than Gilderoy and also doesn't want it, unlike Gilderoy. But yeah, he thinks that Harry's trying to become even more famous, and so Gilderoy is like trying to take him under his wing and kind of like deter him or like give him tips so he doesn't try to, burn too bright too quickly.
Be his like fame mentor.
Oh, God.
And he says, like, during his detention, Harry's just, like, trying to tune him out, and he catches phrases like, fame is a fickle friend, and...
Celebrity is as celebrity does. Kiss a butt. You're so dumb.
So ridiculous.
Yeah. Yep.
But this is when Harry first hears the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, he hears
the voice.
Disembodied voice that he cannot explain.
Yep. And it says, like, let me rip, let me kill.
Yeah.
Eesh.
That is not what you want to hear.
No. Mm-mm.
Especially when you can't see who's saying it.
Right. Excuse me? You want to...
Huh?
Blood? Kill me? What? I'm sorry.
Tear? Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yeah. So, he's understandably a little freaked out.
Yeah, he's freaked.
And Lockhart just, like, dismisses. And he doesn't tell him what he hears, but he's like, do you hear that voice? And Lockhart's like,
I think you're tired.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we've been here 4 hours. Get off to bed.
Yeah.
So then we're into the next chapter, I believe.
Yep, we are.
The Death Day Party.
Mm-hmm.
So Harry is on his way back to his dorm after the detention, and he bumps into or walks through or notices nearly headless Nick. He is super upset, actually, because, and I think his dismay is what kind of makes Harry notice him.
Yeah.
He's upset because he has written to join the Headless Hunt many a time, and they keep denying his request.
Because of 3/4 of an inch of skin.
It's pretty terrible.
That's
I understand that he is not completely headless, but he's...
mostly headless.
He's mostly... And it's not like the Headless Hunt runs around without their heads. They carry them in their arms. What's the difference between it being in the crook of your elbow...
and
or
just, like,
on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Stop being so hoity-toity and gatekeeping this...
headlessness.
It's ridiculous.
It's so rude.
So to make him feel better, Harry agrees to go to his death day party because he's mostly upset because, it's his death day party's coming up and he just really wanted to be part of the Headless Hunt. He feels like they don't probably respect him or are very nice to him.
Yeah.
So he thinks if the famous Harry Potter comes to his birthday party, that maybe it'll kind of give him a little more notoriety.
Yeah, probably.
In a way. So he asks Harry to come to his party, and then he's like, oh, but of course you probably wouldn't want to come. But Harry, feeling sorry for him and being very nice,
it was like, of course I'll come.
Yeah. But it's during the Halloween party, so he's going to miss out on the Halloween feast.
Yeah, and this is when Harry runs into Nick, he also runs into Filch.
He's always on the lookout for kids to get in trouble.
Yeah, and then Filch is like, come to my office.
Right. Which he was out of bed at late hours because of detention / a teacher. Mm-hmm. Why is he getting in trouble right now?
No one cares.
Right, no one cares. But first we notice Mrs. Norris, and then huffing behind
is
Filch.
And so Nick gets peeves to cause a diversion to get Filch out of his office so that Harry doesn't get in trouble.
Right. Which I don't think we said in the last book either. Peeves is a poltergeist at Hogwarts. He's not in the films, but he's very prominent in the books. He's just a troublemaker.
Yeah, just causes havoc.
Yeah.
So, but while Harry's in Filch's office, he sees Filch has a correspondence course called Quick Spell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really understand the Quick Spell.
I guess it's like an online class.
Like the wizard version?
The wizard version of an online class, but it's like via correspondence, and I think they just send you lessons to try. I don't even know if like anyone really like helps you or tests you. It just seems like here's some tips on how to become better at magic, because that's what the Quick Spell is. It's supposed to help you become better at magic, or like, gain skill in magic in an easy breezy way.
I feel like my confusion is, why does Filch have it? Because in my brain, in order for a Quick Spell course to make sense, you have to have some magic.
I think that he's in denial and he thinks that, or maybe they're lying and they're misrepresenting themselves, and they're making it seem as if even if you're a squib, which is what Filch is, which is a person born to a wizarding family that has no magic. So like the opposite of
a Muggle-born.
But yeah, either he is just deluding himself, or they've advertised it, alluded to that maybe even if you're a squib, you can learn magic. But I'm kind of thinking he might be fooling himself, or a mix of the two. But that's always been my assumption.
Yeah.
Either way, it makes you feel a little bad for him. No wonder he resents these students. He's hanging out with little punks that can do magic all day, and he can't do any. He can't,
it made me... The Quick Spell thing always made me question, like, does he have, like, a little bit of magic, and he just can't... He just didn't have enough to, like, go to Hogwarts, so he never got a wand? Or...
I don't think so. Because Neville...
What is the point of the Quick Spell?
Yeah, because Neville says he almost was a squib. He has minimal magic, kind of, when he starts school. So I truly think that he has none. Because to be a squib, you have to have none.
Right.
So I'm thinking... It's
he's...
delusion or misconception of what's possible.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think it's truly just a device, because it makes no sense, right, to do a correspondence course to learn. Maybe it makes sense, I don't know, but it was just a device to let us know
that he's a squib.
Poor
old Filch.
Right, but thankfully Peeves does the distraction, and Harry gets out of there without getting detained. Filch comes back and then notices and thinks that Harry read his letter, and he freaks out and he just like, get out of here.
Yeah, that's right. So Harry essentially saved himself.
Yep.
By being a snoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Harry feels like he's got to go to the Death Day party, so he agrees, and he tells Ron and Hermione, he's like, yeah, we got to go to this party. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yeah. I think they're excited, or at least Hermione's like thinks it'll be
interested.
Cool.
I don't think Ron has any interest at all. He's like,
no.
Damn it.
But it's not going to have anything we can eat.
Yeah, exactly. Which is true. They show up. The music is weird. Mm-hmm. The food is all like rancid and bad.
Right, because ghosts can't eat anything, but they can sort of experience the taste or smell if it's like really rotted.
Because it's like a very strong taste.
Right. Yeah. They were gonna maybe back out, but Hermione reminded Harry that a promise is a promise.
Yeah, because they were like really excited because the Halloween feast sounding like cooler and cooler.
Yeah.
Like, damn it.
But I think they're still I don't know about glad, but
they're interested.
Yeah, I mean, no other kids going to a Death Day party.
That's right. So they go.
Yep.
And they're, experiencing it. The people from the Headless Hunt show up, and they're being very pompous and flashy.
Rude to our friend, Nick.
And Nick Harry tries to defend Nick, like, oh, I think Nick's very scary. And the guy's like, he probably told you to say that.
What a douche.
It's really rude.
Right. And then we meet Myrtle.
Yep.
Moaning Myrtle for the first time. Did we mention her in the characters earlier?
No, we didn't.
Moaning Myrtle is also a ghost at the school.
Yep.
She is a student. Or
Yeah,
was
a student.
She died at the school.
She did.
So she haunts the second floor girl bathroom.
Yep. She does.
But Hermione makes some comment about Myrtle, and then Peeves overhears it, and then he's like, ooh, Myrtle's going to be upset. Hermione's like, please, I didn't mean it. Don't say anything to her. You know, she doesn't want Myrtle's feelings to be hurt. Of course, Peeves tells her, hurts her feelings. Myrtle is very sensitive.
So sensitive.
Sweet, loony Myrtle. But she is very sensitive. And so, she gets her feelings hurt. And that's not great. But
yeah, she is crying and she zooms away.
Right. But I think the festivities continue on, and then the kids kind of like find their escape moment, and they skedaddle, hoping to maybe catch some food. Yeah. But we hear the voice again.
We do.
And by we, I mean only Harry.
Only Harry. He's like following this voice, and then what do they see?
Mrs. Norris.
Mrs. Norris, and some paint on the wall.
Yep.
Says, the Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the air, beware.
Woo.
Whoop. Chilling.
Especially because how do you know if you're an enemy of the air?
Yeah, you have no idea.
You don't.
And they see the scene and they're like, oh shit, we should probably get out of here.
Yep, there's water all over the floor. It's flooded. Mrs. Norris appears to be dead.
Yeah, at first glance, they think she's probably dead.
Yes.
And so they're like, oop, let's get out of here. But
guess who shows up?
Everyone from the school.
Yep.
So the feast is just let out and everyone is on their way to the bed.
Yeah, and then they see them standing there next to a seemingly dead cat.
And this writing on the wall.
Right.
And Draco is like pumped.
Yeah, he knows exactly what it means. He knows what the chamber is. He knows the intention. He knows who the enemies of the air are. And he says, you'll be next, mudbloods.
Yep, he does. Like a little jerk.
Yep.
So
Filch is understandably freaking out.
Freaked.
Because he's like, they've murdered my cat.
They murdered my cat. Yeah, he thinks Harry specifically.
Right.
Because they just had that encounter.
Right.
So he thinks, okay, this kid for sure, he did it.
Right.
So Dumbledore basically like snatches Mrs. Norris. They go into like a nearby classroom.
Yep. We're in the next chapter now called The Writing on the Wall. So that last one really left you on a cliffhanger.
It left you on a cliffhanger. So Dumbledore examines the cat. He's poking around and he's like, you know what? It's not dead. It's petrified.
Whew. Relief.
Thank God. And the mandrakes, when they're mature, can be made into a potion that will revive her.
How fortuitous that we are learning about them this year at school.
That really is lucky.
So lucky. Almost as if it was
planned. So obviously Harry and Ron and Hermione are questioned.
Right.
And they're like, well, we went to the Death Day party and we were just going on our way back to the dormitory after it was over.
Yeah.
And
they were like, you weren't hungry or anything?
Yes.
You know, Snape's just like trying to catch them in a lie.
I didn't think that there was anything to eat at a ghost party.
Right. So aren't you hungry? And then, you know, Ron's stomach grumbles as
obviously
anyone's would, but his especially because he's always eating.
He's always eating.
In the movies anyway. But but you know, he's like, no, I wasn't hungry. And of course, Harry's not going to tell them that he heard a voice. He doesn't know how they're going to react, especially because he's the only one who's hearing this. So they try and cover it up, and Snape's just like, oh, well, you know, maybe these three should be punished. Maybe Potter shouldn't be able to play Quidditch. Are you really that petty?
Come on, Snape. A is not getting you to be here.
No.
He
wants that Quidditch cup so bad for the Slytherin house. Like, he is just willing to do anything.
Yeah, he is. Which, at this point, they have won the cup.
Yeah.
They won the cup. The first book, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but it just shows his insecurity and how he knows his team sucks.
That's right. Sucks.
Trying to take Harry out of the game.
Trying to freaking buy your way onto the team,
Right.
Malfoy.
Right. Just a bunch of cheaters on the Slytherin team.
Friggin' cheaters.
Not all Slytherins are bad, but you do have a lot of people that are just
Bad.
jerky
Jerks,
buttholes.
Yeah, maybe being in Slytherin around the other ones just kind of like, it just seeps off.
Yeah, that
onto
air
you.
of ambition just really like
The arrogance
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Just like rubs off. So by the time...
on some of them anyway.
On some of them,
Yeah.
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 Well, friggin' Slytherins, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, so...
I think next day we're in class.
Yeah.
We're in
History of Magic.
History of Magic.
In the movie, it's McGonagall. But
Right.
in the book, it's
Professor
Professor
Binns.
He's also another one that's left out.
Yeah, he's a ghost professor at the school. He sat down in, I think it was like the teacher's lounge or something, fell asleep and passed away in his sleep, and then
Got up
his
to
ghost got up to teach.
That's dedication.
Honestly, to me, I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy, but
Right.
it's cool.
But
But I mean, yeah, I don't even know if he really recognizes that he's a ghost, but he's just doing his thing.
yeah, and he always gets all the students' names just slightly wrong.
Yeah, that's another like funny thing
Yeah.
about his character.
Yeah, I like it.
But everyone's always like falling asleep in his class because they find History of Magic to be boring. It partially could be the way that he's teaching it,
Sure.
but or the way that he's speaking. You imagine that very like dry Bueller sort of teacher. But Hermione, the smart girl that she is, sees this as an opportunity. History of Magic, Professor, can you tell us about the Chamber of Secrets, please?
Yeah.
And he's like, myths and history aren't really, the same thing. She's
Yeah.
like, yes, but myths are based.
Rooted.
Yes, they're rooted in history, are they not?
And he's like, fine.
Right. So he gives us the story behind the Chamber of Secrets.
Yep.
We, let's see, we start with learning about the 4 founding, I want to say fathers, but
2 of them are women.
fathers and mothers.
The founders.
The founders, that's the word I was looking for. The founders of the school. You have Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. You can, if you can't tell which one belongs to or made which house, I hope you can tell. So, but, and each one of them kind of got to decide the parameters of who, they decided they wanted the school to be split up into 4 houses. They kind of wanted students of like mind with them. So Gryffindor, brave, Hufflepuff, loyal and kind, Ravenclaw, witty and clever, and then Slytherin, ambitious. Well, unlike the other 3, Slytherin thought that the school should only be for students that are of wizarding heritage. He didn't think that they should teach students of any Muggle lineage.
Right.
So they say because of this, he kind of had a disagreement with the other founders, and he leaves the school. But before he leaves the school, he leaves a creature to, exact his revenge, I suppose.
To rid the school of any who are unworthy,
Right.
a.k.a. Muggleborns.
Right. But no one has ever found said creature. No one has ever found the chamber, nor the entrance to said chamber. Many of teachers, professors,
Headmasters
have tried, which you can only imagine they're all very skilled wizards. No one has ever been lucky enough. So that kind of helps prove like it's not real, because everyone has tried and failed to find it.
That's right.
So that is the story.
That's the myth. So, but they kind of all are like, well, we believe it.
Yeah.
We think it's real.
You can't hear a cool story like that and go, yeah, you're right, it's rubbish. You're going to be like, no, that is 100% fact. let's find it.
That's real. So, yeah, they fully believe that it's real, and they notice that there's like a line of spiders walking away from Moaning Myrtle's bathroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we notice lines of spiders throughout the story just kind of cropping up.
Yeah.
And they're noticed, but the reason for them is not ever, or not ever, but not immediately mentioned.
Right.
We're just kind of
It's
seeing
noted.
them. They're like little breadcrumbs. They're leaving
Yeah.
us. They're leading us somewhere in the story. We don't know where yet.
Yes. So they notice the spiders, and so they go into Myrtle's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
They talk to Myrtle, I assume. And they're just kind of like looking around, seeing what's happening in there. Because that's also right where the crime occurred.
Right, where we found Mrs. Norris.
Yes.
All the water
spilled
from that bathroom.
Yeah.
Myrtle, when she gets upset, she floods the bathroom.
Yeah.
That's her MO.
Yeah. So, and they're discussing this, and they think, obviously, that Malfoy is the heir of Slytherin.
Yeah.
And he's the one who opened the chamber again, and he is...
It's sound reasoning on their part.
It really is. Enemies of the heir, mudbloods, and he said, "You'll be next, mudbloods."
Right. Yeah.
So. This is where they're going, and Hermione's like, you know what? The real way to figure this out is to go into the Slytherin common room in disguise, and he's probably bragging.
Right.
Because he's kind of a boasting
100%.
So they're like, yeah, he's bragging about this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, well, the only way to do that is Polyjuice Potion. We're going to look like some of the Slytherins.
Yep. So that's the beginning of their plan.
That's their plan.
To polyjuice it up.
Yep. Which, when you take Polyjuice Potion, you have a little bit of the person you're changing into, and you drink the potion, and then you just look like a replica of the person.
You look and sound like the person.
Yeah. You look and sound like them.
Unlike the film, you don't sound like yourself.
Right. You sound like the person
I had to say
changing
that.
into. Yeah.
But so they make their plan, and then we're heading into the next chapter, the Rogue Bludger. But we're still on the Polyjuice Potion plot.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to get a book from the restricted section to get the ingredients, the list, the recipe.
I mean, it kind
instructions
of is.
For the potion. So you have to have a teacher's signature for the restricted section. Hermione, being amazingly smart as she is, and being madly in love with Lockhart, it's kind of two birds, one stone. She knows that he's vain.
Yeah.
And so she butters him up and gets him to sign this permission slip. And this man is like ready to sign just about anything at all times. So
yeah. Stand too still, and he's going to sign you.
Right. Yes. So done and done. She's
Yeah.
got her permission slip. She's going to get the book from the restricted section, and we're going to start this party.
Yeah.
It's going to take a month, though, so it's going to be...
It's in a while before they actually get to take it.
Yeah, before they can enact it. But
Yeah.
we're starting the process.
We're starting. And they also need to steal some stuff from Snape's
Yes.
private.
Because some of them are in the student store closet, but some of them are more rare.
Yep.
And we're going to have to snatch them from Snape.
Yep. So, but that doesn't happen until next chapter.
Correct.
Yeah. So before that, we are going into the first Quidditch match against Slytherin.
Yep.
And, the Gryffindor team, they're seeing these Nimbus 2001s, and they're zipping around, and they're like, yikes.
Right. Harry, you need to get that snitch
Yeah.
ASAP, because...
Get it going.
This is going to be a rough one.
Yeah. And he says, basically, get the snitch or die trying.
Yeah. Oliver would.
So, they start playing. Harry's hyper-focused, and a bludger almost takes him out, which that's what they do.
Right. But this one
then-
seems particularly focused on Harry.
It keeps following him, and he's like, this isn't normal.
Mm-mm.
And so Fred and George are, like, flanking him, and he's like, listen here.
Yeah.
I can't be getting the snitch with you knocking knees with me.
Right.
This is unacceptable.
Right. And then they're yelling at Oliver, you know, you told him to get the snitch or die trying, and look, that's exactly what he's going to do. But Harry thinks he can handle it.
And Wood's like, leave him alone.
Right. We need you getting the other bludger off the other teammates.
Yeah.
So reluctantly, they agree. Because, like I said, they're good friends on and off the pitch.
They are. We get a little...
chasing
around, yeah. Malfoy's laughing at Harry because he's like, you know, twisting and turning, trying to avoid this bludger.
Yeah.
But then Harry sees the snitch.
Yep.
He goes for it. The bludger breaks his arm.
Yep.
But he gets the snitch anyway.
Yep. He gets the job done.
He does it. And then he falls.
As you would as you're holding something and then your other arm is broken.
It's broken.
You're holding the broom, I assume, with your knees.
Yeah.
Which is not a preferred way to fly the broom.
No, that's not how you fly. So he falls to the ground and people like swarm him, and then Lockhart's like, I can fix it.
And it's like, please don't. He's like, no, I got this. You don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. And Harry is just like, no, Madame Pomfrey.
Where are you?
And then Lockhart's just like, boop.
Requiem Airmendo, and it airmendoed something, and it made his bones vanish, and now he's got a noodle arm.
All the bones in his arm are gone. I imagine that feels like, you know, whenever you, like, sleep on your arm weird, and you wake up, and it's, like, basically, like, dead.
Yes.
It's fully asleep, and you're just, like, shaking your arm. I'm doing the motion.
You can't see it, but I know exactly what she's talking about.
Whitney can see it. That's what I think of when I read this scene.
Yeah.
And I can, like, feel it.
Yeah, but he doesn't even feel tingles. Like, it's nothing.
It's literally
which has got to be even more of a jarring sensation.
How alarming.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Woof.
Yeah, no. So, poor Harry has to go to the hospital wing where he should have gone in the first place.
Yes.
And we got to drink some nasty Skelligro because it does not taste good.
Yeah, and he's got to regrow all of his bones.
Thank you, Lockhart.
What?
Madame Pomfrey could have had him zip-zap.
Yeah. Fixed in a flash.
Yep, but no.
Because she is an expert medical professional.
That is her job. Lockhart is out here showing off and showing himself a fool.
He's showing his ass right now.
Oh, my God. But he's acting like he's the best gift, so...
What's really weird about Lockhart that I think is really hilarious is a lot of people who front like that, who put on like a facade to try and be something they're not, usually when faced with a situation where they're going to have to demonstrate their like skill or knowledge, they will avoid it.
Right.
He, knowing full well that he didn't do all the shit that he says he did,
he runs head first into every situation going, I got this! Yeah. I think he's literally hoping he'll prove himself right. I really do.
The hilarity there. It's so ridiculous because it's like, bud, on some level, you know you have an inkling of your own incompetence. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done what you did to get where you are.
Right.
You would have just done the shit.
Right.
But...
That's too hard.
That's a lot of effort. But you're still out here like thinking that you're gonna impress some people, and then you just fuck up royally.
He is Michael Scott.
He really is. I have a Michael Scott quote. I have a whiteboard that sits like it's on wheels, and it sits in my cube at work, and I keep like my schedule on it. I change it every week. But I have, like, a quote at the top, and it's a Michael Scott quote, and it says, and I knew exactly what to do, but in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
That is both of their life mottos. Yes.
It's one of my favorite Michael Scott quotes.
It's an amazing one, and it encapsulates him as a person perfectly.
And in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do.
Yep. Yep, and that is Lockhart. He's going to act like he knows exactly what to do while having zero clue. Just
making a huge mess of everything.
Yep. And Harry is...
He's the victim here.
Yeah, he's the victim here.
He's,
so,
you know.
in the hospital wing overnight, regrowing them bones.
Which
And
cannot be pleasant.
no, it's got to be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's like he doesn't it say it's like splinters, like, you know, inside your skin. Like, that's such a good descriptor, but also like, youch.
Eesh.
Yeah, no, not fun.
No.
And then all of a sudden, boop, here's Dobby appears.
Again, here he is.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, I tried to save you.
Why didn't you go home whenever you couldn't get on the train?
And he was like, that was you? Oh, and also, we forgot to mention earlier, Dobby's the reason that Harry didn't receive any letters from his friends.
That's
Dobby
right.
had been snatching them and hiding them.
Yep, he'd been snatching his letters. Which, how?
He's a house elf.
Yeah, they have some weird...
He probably saw the owl. He was probably scouting the house, saw the owl, and was like, boop.
Yeah.
House elves are incredibly powerful magic creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they got roped into the house
whole-
elf enslavement. Like,
Yeah.
baloney and is so wrong.
Yeah.
Which we get a little bit more of that later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, house elves are very, very powerful. So I bet he just snapped it right out of the owl's claws. And,
You're right.
you know, or, you know, also because his aunt and uncle aren't trying to make it easy for owls to deliver things either.
That's
so
true.
it probably made it really easy for Dobby to intercept.
Just grab him.
But yeah, so we find out not only Dobby blocked the entrance to platform 9 3/4, but he also set the rogue bludger. He's like, I'm just trying to get you to see that you're in danger and you need to go home. And Harry's like, the only thing that is putting me in danger is you.
Yeah.
How do you not see this?
I'm pretty sure that Ron, whenever Harry is telling Ron and Hermione about this, Ron says, if he doesn't stop trying to save your life, he's going to kill you.
Yep.
Facts.
It is facts.
Listen, Ron is astute.
He is. He is.
He doesn't get the credit he deserves.
No.
He is astute.
He sees what's up.
He reads a room like nobody's business.
He really does.
Also, we see that Colin Creevey has been petrified.
Yeah, after Harry and Dobby have their little spat, Dobby disappears, and then Harry pretends to be asleep, and poor little Colin Creevey's body is brought in, and he, too, is petrified.
Yep, he has his camera, and they open it up to see if maybe there's film in there that can be developed to get a picture of his attacker, but it just...
Alas, poof, it is dust.
It is melted.
Mm-hmm. Sad day.
Whatever it is that's out here petrifying folks, it's intense.
Yeah, it's got 2 victims.
2 victims down.
Oof.
Not cool.
Now we're headed to chapter The Dueling Club.
The Dueling Club.
But Harry is healed up. He's got his bones. The crew is starting to make the polyjuice potion. But as Maddie said before, we're going to have to steal some stuff from Snape's stores.
Yep.
Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Hermione's, I don't think, is, like, keen on the... Well, no, she's keen on the plan.
It's
She
her
wants
plan.
she wants these ingredients. So I just keep defaulting to her not wanting to break rules. But no, like, yeah, she's in. She's
in.
fully in. She wanted to make the boys were actually, like, hesitant on the polyjuice potion.
Yeah.
And she is sort of like, fine, if you're fine with Muggleborns, like, getting killed, then that's just fine.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, duh.
Fine.
Our best friend
Yeah.
is, yes, of course we're going to do this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the firecracker gets thrown into Goyle's, Crabbe or Goyle's,
One of them.
cauldron during a, I forget what the potion is.
It makes them, like, get, like, boils.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant potion that they're making. It explodes on everyone, and Snape has to, like, reverse the effects with, like, another potion, and he doesn't know who did it, but he suspects.
He suspects that it's Harry, but while the kerfluffle is happening, Hermione sneaks in, steals some stuff, puts it in her robes, and sneaks back out.
Yep. Like the boss she is.
Yeah. So they've got their shit, and they're about to, she's mixing it up, because of course Hermione's the one who's making the potion.
Of course.
Duh.
It's a pretty advanced potion,
Yeah.
too. So.
Yeah, it is. So we pass a few days, and then there's a notice on the notice board about a dueling club.
Oh, God.
Started by None other than our good friend Gilderoy Lockhart.
The most incompetent spell wielder on
Yeah.
the planet.
Yep. And Snape is along for the ride. He's there to, like, assist. But I really think deep down he's there to just get a good laugh at Gilderoy.
Right. Yes, I think so.
He's-
and maybe
yeah.
cause some pain to non-Slytherin students. I
Right.
think that's his
Because,
goal.
and I think Snape is a pretty accomplished dueler,
Yeah.
just generally.
Oh, for sure.
So, they're holding the duel. And they are trying to demonstrate some things. And Lockhart he drops his wand and he
Gets
tries,
blown back.
Yeah.
And
Snape disarms him.
easily Expelliarmus.
Easily. No, like Snape could have been asleep and still pulled this off.
Oh, for sure.
So, this is where we first get Expelliarmus.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've only watched the movies, people think this is the only spell that Harry ever does, which is just simply untrue.
But yet, partially true.
I mean, it's weird.
It is weird.
that-
But there are also spells in the movie that they never say in the book. Like
Yeah.
Aranya Exime, maybe Serpensorcia is in the book, I can't remember. But there are spells that, like, they throw out in the movie that they don't
there.
say in the book. Like,
Yeah.
they don't give us a spell for
like
or whatever.
Lumos Maximus.
Yeah, there's
never
no,
that.
no, it's just Lumos.
just Lumos. So
No Lumos Maxima.
so
But-
yeah,
So sometimes it
weird.
happens.
Yeah.
But, once Snape is done wiping the floor with Gilderoy, then they let the students pair up, but they kind of choose who pairs up with who.
Mm-hmm.
Hermione's stuck with
Millicent
Bulstrode,
Bulstrode.
who's, like, putting her in a headlock.
which is really funny.
Right. Ron gets Seamus Finnegan, which he's a good kid, but...
Yeah, I like Seamus.
he
but
makes
Ron's
everything...
wand-
Yeah, Ron's wand is jacked, and Seamus makes everything explode / set on fire, so...
Yeah.
That's a match made in heaven.
It is.
And then, of course, Snape suggests that Draco and Harry
Of course.
duel. And then
What an
Snape...
instigator.
I know. Well, and he whispers something in Draco's ear. I don't believe for 1 second he didn't give him that spell.
The spell, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And Gilderoy is trying to, like, give Harry pointers, and Harry in his mind is just like, nah.
Shut up.
Get out of here,
Right.
you wand dropping ass.
Right.
I feel like there's nothing more bitch than, like, dropping your wand.
Oh, yeah, that...
Especially when you're, like, about to duel, or you're trying to teach people to duel, and you just drop your wand.
Yes.
Come
That would be
on.
like having a, I don't know, a guitar competition and you just, like, drop your guitar.
Yeah.
No.
It just...
Or a gun competition, you drop your gun, you look incompetent.
Yeah. Yeah. It just makes you look
foolish.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Both my comparisons are probably ridiculous, but that's what first
I
popped in my
feel
head.
like they're pretty accurate.
But yeah, so Draco spits a snake out of his wand, and then, of course, Snape's like, let me handle it. And
Yeah.
then Gilderoy's like, no, let me. He pisses off the snake.
Yeah.
And so Harry, who has always had a connection with snakes, like the one in the first movie that was at the zoo, so he's like, hey, I'll talk to this guy. We're probably buddies. Like, hey,
Yeah.
Snake,
Don't do that.
don't do that, because it was going towards Justin
Justin.
Finch Fletchley. So he's telling it to leave him alone, and it does back off, but everyone's looking at Harry mighty weird, and, like, they think he's, like, egging it on, even though it's clearly chilling out, but...
Yeah.
I think Snape sort of diffuses the situation. But the damage is done. Now everyone is looking at Harry like he's done something wrong.
Yeah. They're giving him the side eye pretty hard.
Mm-hmm. And it's because Harry wasn't speaking in English to the snake. He was speaking parcel tongue.
Which is snake language.
Snake language, and a very rare skill.
Yeah.
The only people that have really been known to speak snake language are Salazar Slytherin's descendants. So,
Yikes.
yikes. Everyone thinks for sure, okay.
It's Harry.
He is the heir of Slytherin.
He's the one. And so then we have, Harry's bothered by this.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes looking for Justin to be like, hey,
He wants to clear the air.
I was calling the snake off.
Yeah.
Like, no worries, no
Right.
beef. We're good.
Because Ernie is sitting there talking smack, and
Ernie,
Harry overhears it, and he's like, hey, I wasn't trying to hurt your friend. where is he? But, I mean, him asking where he is, like, you're making yourself look more suspicious.
Yeah.
But he wants to clear the air.
Yeah, but he doesn't find him until, unfortunately, he's walking back to Gryffindor Tower, and, well, he stumbles upon a petrified Justin Finch Fletchley.
He, like, falls on his body.
Yeah, and there also is Nick, Nearly Headless Nick, is also petrified, but because he's a ghost, so he's just floating there.
Right.
And they have to try and figure out how to get him into the hospital wing.
Yeah. It is funny that they, like, take fans to get him there. But before people come to help, like, I think Peeves finds him? Of course it's Peeves. He can be your greatest helper or your greatest foe when you are in dire straits. And he, like, starts yelling and gets everyone, to come out there again, right?
Yeah.
And then people are convinced. They're like,
they know.
Harry done got Justin Finch Fletchley petrified. He's the heir of Slytherin.
He is the culprit.
So then, Minerva has no choice.
She takes him to Dumbledore.
Yeah, she's got to take him to Dumbledore's office.
So.
And we're in the next chapter called The Polyjuice Potion. So, but Harry goes to Dumbledore's office. He sees the Sorting Hat and he's like, hey, do you think you put me in the right house?
What's up?
And actually he puts the hat on. He doesn't have like a face-to-face conversation. He puts the hat on.
It on.
And he's like, did you put me in the right house? And the hat's like, you would have done well in Slytherin, I'm just saying. But, Harry obviously is like, I'm glad I'm in Gryffindor, though. That's what I wanted. Because that's what he asked the hat.
Yeah.
He told the hat he had the option, and he chose Gryffindor.
That's right.
But Dumbledore comes back. He's like, hey, I don't think you're the one doing this. But I do feel like there's something you want to tell me. Harry's like, no. I don't want to say anything.
I don't have anything.
Yeah. Nope. And also, when he first walks in, he sees this this old bird that's just like molting and looks awful.
Yeah.
Sets on fire, turns to ash. Harry's like, oh my god, they're gonna think I'm a murderer. Everything that I come upon is dying.
Yeah. He's like, Professor, you're a bird.
Yeah. Yeah. But luckily Dumbledore's like, hey, no, he's a phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you saw him on a burning day because he's normally quite lovely, Yeah. But that's what happens. They live their long little life, they burn, and then they are reborn from the ashes, and now there's just this tiny little baby phoenix. So that's all good there. But phoenixes have really great traits. They can carry heavy loads. Their tears have healing powers. Mm-hmm. I think they're fiercely loyal, beautiful songbirds, beautiful birds in general. So we're introduced to Fawkes, which is the
Phoenix.
The Phoenix's name. Luckily he's free to go. Hagrid actually bursts in and tries to like defend Harry, and Dumbledore's like, not necessary.
I don't think he did it.
I don't think he did it, so we're good.
We're good. But the rest of the school is not as accepting as Dumbledore.
No, damage done. They think Harry is the one.
Did it. And Fred and George think it's like hilarious.
Yeah.
They're marching him through the halls like, heir of Slytherin,
make way for the heir of Slytherin.
Very Fred and George.
Yep. Now, while all this is happening, Ginny is actually quite upset at all the happenings. This is her first year, and she's just beside herself after Mrs. Norris.
Because she apparently loves cats.
Yeah, and now after,
Colin
and Justin.
Yeah.
And Nearly Headless Nick. So she's just beside herself. She's like almost inconsolable at this point.
Fully distraught.
But but the twins are just having a heyday.
They really are. So now we're coming up to Christmas. Mm-hmm. And the potion is now ready.
Yep.
So they are planning on going to Christmas dinner. Hermione has devised this plan where she's made these 2 cakes and she's put sleeping potion in them. And they're going to leave them for for Crab and Goyle to find. And then when they fall asleep, they're going to take their hairs for the potion. So Harry and Ron will be Crabbe and Goyle. Hermione has a hair from Millicent Bulstrode.
When she had her in a headlock.
So that's the plan. And Harry and Ron are like, so many things could go wrong.
Right.
Whoa. But the plan goes off without a hitch.
Yeah. Well, at first,
Sort
anyway.
of.
So, Hermione, for some reason, stays behind.
And they're like,
Weird, but we're on limited time. It only lasts about an hour.
An hour, yeah.
So the boys go.
Yeah.
To the Slytherin common room.
They do. They figure out how to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're chit-chatting with Malfoy.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get him to say that he is the heir.
Right. Trying to get him all braggadocious.
Oh, yeah. Get him going. And we find out that Malfoy is not the heir. He says, I wish I knew who it was so I could help him out. And they're like, wait, you don't know?
Right. I've told you that. Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
Sure. And then he says, the last time the chamber was open, a girl died.
Yeah.
And that he hopes this time it's Hermione.
Yep. And the boys are doing their best not to, like, react like Ron and Harry, but like Crabbe and Goyle. And
right.
They're doing their best.
And
they do better in the book than they do in the movie.
yeah. So, eventually they're, like, kind of notice that some of their features are coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because Malfoy was also talking mad smack on Arthur too.
Right. Yeah.
So he's like, they're doing their best to not like rip his head off. But yeah, it's time to go.
It's time to get out of there.
The potion is wearing off.
So they skedaddle. They get back to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom, where they brewed the potion, and Hermione's still locked in the stall, and Myrtle is gleeful.
The only time that you really see Myrtle gleeful.
Yeah, she's like, you should see her, it's so bad. And finally, Hermione comes out, and apparently the hair that she got from Millicent was a cat hair.
And Polyjuice Potion is not meant for animals. It is only meant for human transfiguration. So she's got to go. It's her turn to see Madame Pomfrey.
Yeah. So she's a cat, essentially.
Yep.
And she goes to the hospital wing. Luckily, this is a magic school, and shit goes weird a lot.
Yeah.
So Madame Pomfrey's not really asking any questions. She's like, oh, yeah, you're a cat. Cool, let's get this fixed.
Right.
Instead of, like, what happened? How did you become half a cat?
Right. And if she does ask, she probably takes Hermione's non-answer. She's just like, oh, Miss Granger.
Oh, young wizards and witches.
Yep. A little bit of time goes by, I think.
Yeah, we get to Valentine's Day.
Yep. We're in the very secret diary. So, Moaning Myrtle is upset, per usual, because someone came into her bathroom and threw a book through the top of her head.
Yeah.
And Harry actually says, well, wouldn't it just go right through you? Not Ron.
Like, yeah, she's like, not the point.
Right. She's like, yeah, let's just throw things at me because I can't feel it.
Yeah.
Really, bro? But they look around and they find a diary. Mm-hmm. And it has the name Tom Riddle on the back, right? Mm-hmm. But no writing inside of it. It's empty.
It's just empty.
But it belongs to a T.M. Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
And they just kind of hang on to it. For some reason, Gilderoy Lockhart gets some wild hair like he always does. And he's like, I know, I'll make everyone cheer up from all the bad things happening. And we're going to have a party. We're going to have a Valentine's Day. Well, not a party, a Valentine's Day celebration.
Yeah. Where you can send singing Valentines.
With these little dudes that do not seem like remotely romantic. Like,
no.
I imagine them being like short little Brooklyn talking like, come over here, I got a song I gotta sing at you. Come here.
Yeah. Why couldn't it have been like little flowers that you buy and then the flower sings?
Right. Or even like a cute, sweet messenger that like loves love.
Yeah, like an actual Cupid.
Yeah, these little dudes just do not seem interested, other than the fact they're very adamant. Like, even if you're like, no thank you, they're like, no.
Listen, I'm gonna sing this to you.
Right.
So obviously Harry gets one.
From
Ginny.
Talking about how his eyes are as green as toads and stuff. It's quite cute, but
It
also a
is
little
cute.
embarrassing for both of them.
Yeah, and it's, Harry gets it sung to him right in front of everyone,
Great.
and he's mocked for it.
Right.
So
It's just great.
it's just a lot for him, poor guy.
Yeah.
So,
And then I don't quite remember in the book, like, what he's doing when he's, like, messing around with the diary. Is he... Oh, he's just in the common room. Or
Yeah,
in his
well,
dorm room.
what spurs him to, like, actually write in it is whenever the singing Valentine guy
Right.
tackles him, ink goes all over all of his stuff because his bag, like, drops or whatever.
Right.
And he notices that the diary doesn't have any ink on it.
Yeah.
And so then he starts writing and it absorbs his writing. And then Tom Riddle writes back to him.
Yeah, so he's writing in his diary, and it's responding back to him. It's like, hi, Harry Potter, I'm Tom Riddle.
Yeah, and so Harry, noticing that, like, there's a date on the diary that's, like, 50 years before. And I think Malfoy had said something about the chamber had been open 50 years ago,
Yes.
and that's when the girl died.
Yeah.
So he's like, 50 years. So he asks Tom Riddle, do you know anything about the Chamber of Secrets? And Tom's like, yeah, I do. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And so Harry just, like, falls right into the diary, and he's following Tom Riddle, this handsome young man, and Tom Riddle sees a young Hagrid. And he's like, the jig is up.
He's like, because
Somebody died.
Yeah, we start with Tom talking to the headmaster, and he's basically telling him, like, hey, Tom, we're going to have to send you back to the orphanage early because of the death. It's like, we think the school's going to be closed. Why you're discussing this with a student necessarily? I mean, I guess they got to tell him, like, hey, you got to go home.
Yeah.
But Tom's like, oh, well, if we find who did it, then will the school stay open? It's like, why, do you know something? No,
of course not.
But then he goes straight to Hagrid because he knows Hagrid loves creatures.
And he's got a creature in a box in there. And that is who it is pinned on, Hagrid.
Right. He rats him out. He's like, hey, your monster's been killing. It's time to give it up. You know, I don't think you meant to hurt anyone, but someone's died. And so, it gets pinned on Hagrid. And then Harry's out of the memory, and that's all he's left with is seeing Hagrid get caught for the murder.
Yep. So, and I think, Hagrid was expelled, but he wasn't arrested. So the consensus is that Hagrid just wanted to help this creature and wasn't really...
Didn't know that it was hurting people.
Yes.
Or that it was going to kill someone.
Right, exactly. So Hagrid is innocent as far as motive, but he's still kind of indirectly responsible.
Right. So, he got expelled, wand broken.
But he stays on as gamekeeper. Yeah. So they so Harry obviously tells Ron and Hermione, and then as we get to the next chapter, which is titled Cornelius Fudge.
Which I don't think we said who he is either.
Yeah, he's the Minister of Magic.
We're on the ball tonight, okay?
Totally. And so Harry's telling Ron and Hermione about the diary and what he saw and blah, blah, blah. And they're kind of debating back and forth on whether or not they should ask Hagrid about it. And they kind of decide, let's not. It's probably a touchy subject.
For sure.
So let's just not. Then they all pick their classes.
Yeah, which Hermione signs up for.
Everything.
All of them. And then the boys just end up picking the same classes as each other.
Right.
Because the thought is, if I'm going to do poorly, at least I'll have,
a buddy.
A buddy by my side.
Yeah, exactly. So then the diary is stolen out of the dorm.
Yep, it's disheveled everywhere, and the only thing missing is the diary. Yep. So
it is ransacked.
Whoever got rid of it came back for it.
Yeah.
And took it.
They wanted it and knew he had it.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's a mystery.
Yep. And then Harry, poor Harry, here's the voice again.
On his way to play some Quidditch.
And his head's got to be clear for some Quidditch.
Yeah, he can't be worrying about this shit.
No.
So...
No.
He gets to the Quidditch... Well, he's hearing the voice, and all of a sudden Hermione has an idea. She has the light bulb go off.
Yep. But she doesn't tell the boys anything.
Nothing.
I think she wants to go to the library and confirm it first.
Yes. That is kind of a theme with her.
Mm-hmm.
We see even in the later books.
Right, but this moment should prove, say your idea before you run off, just in case.
Right.
So that somebody has an idea of what's going on. But yeah, so she runs off to the library.
And they're kind of like, all right.
Okie dokie. She's doing what she do, which is going to the library.
Hermione's going to be Hermione-ing.
Yes. They go to the Quidditch pitch, but then before the match can start, it's canceled.
McGonagall's like,
Harry,
everyone,
I need you and Mr. Weasley. Come with me. And there have been new petrifications.
And it's Hermione.
And another student, a Ravenclaw student, and her name's Penelope Clearwater.
Yep, they have been petrified.
Yep. But oddly, they both have... Don't they both have, like, something reflective in their possession? Like a mirror or something?
I think it's just the one mirror.
Okay.
That's found with them.
Oh, together.
Yep,
because they were found together.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, they're... the boys are obviously upset. Their friend who ran off to the library is now petrified.
Yep.
But after Hermione being petrified, then everyone who thought Harry was doing this was like, oh.
We know you wouldn't do that to her.
We know you wouldn't do that to your best friend. So Ernie actually, like, comes around and is like, hey, sorry.
Sorry, dude.
Can we be friends?
Yeah.
Or at least, cool in class.
Let's be cool again. Yeah. So then
it's gone too far. They gotta ask Hagrid.
They
now.
have to ask Hagrid now. They're like, it's Hermione. We gotta ask.
They're not accusing him. They don't have any leads because someone ran off to the library without saying anything.
That's right.
And then got herself petrified.
Yep. So they make their way down. They have the invisibility cloak.
Yep.
They're going to Hagrid's, and what do you know? They have to hide in the corner because Cornelius Fudge, the Minister of Magic, and Dumbledore show up.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, Hagrid, sorry about this, but at this point, we kind of got to look like we're doing something, so we got to take you.
Right. Even though Dumbledore's like, I don't think that Hagrid's done this. He has my full confidence. And Fudge is like, yeah, sorry, I got to look like I'm doing anything.
Yeah. Got an image to protect here.
Right. Because we can't actually, do any work.
Yeah, we can't actually look into this and investigate.
Easy answer. Boom, bada boom, Hagrid, let's go. But before they take Hagrid off, Lucius Malfoy shows up at Hagrid's cabin.
Talking that shit.
Get the hell out. Nobody asked you, invited you. Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. But he's come to tell Dumbledore, with all this stuff going on, the other governors and I have decided that you're not the right fit for headmaster. So
you gotta go.
So now Dumbledore is like out.
Mm-hmm.
And Fudge is taking Hagrid.
Mm-hmm.
But Dumbledore, before he leaves, just reminds the room that anyone that, what is it? Help will always be granted to those who are loyal to him.
Mm-hmm.
And then I sure hope that me bumping my knee is not like showing or is not causing audio.
I'm sure it's fine.
So yeah, help will always be granted to those who ask for it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Hagrid's like, if anyone's looking for some stuff, all they gotta do is follow the spiders. Oh, and also feed my dog.
Yeah. Which, good on you, Hagrid. You're thinking about your baby boy.
Yeah, of course he is. Of course he is.
All right. So Harry and Ron now are like, fuck. Hagrid's
Can you imagine if they said that?
Hagrid's gone. Dumbledore's gone. They go back to the castle, and they're just like, kind of like, what do we do now?
Yeah.
But they see a line of spiders.
Yeah. They remember seeing a line of spiders randomly throughout, and now they see another line again.
Yeah. And I think what had happened just on like the same day, is Lockhart is walking around talking about why is everybody upset. They've got Hagrid. They've got the culprit.
Yeah.
I knew he did it from the beginning. Blah, blah, blah. Brag, brag, brag.
A walking dumpster fire
Yeah.
you are.
So Harry and Ron are like, we've got to see what Hagrid meant.
Mm-hmm.
They see the line of spiders and they follow it into the forest.
Yep.
And they take Fang for protection.
Yeah. And, they gotta let him out. He's gotta go do his business.
Yeah, they gotta take care of Fang, too.
Yeah.
So they have Fang. They're following the spiders in the forest. They go deep in the forest.
Deep,
And-
dark.
Ooh.
Can't even hardly see your hand in front of your
Cannot
face.
hardly see until they finally get to this clearing that is filled with webs.
Yeah. Do they see the car before they find the spiders, or is
No.
it after?
It's just after.
Okay.
Yeah. So they get there, and Aragog is like this.
Well, I think some of the kid spiders snatch them
I think
and then take them to Aragog.
Oh, is that? You're right. That's true.
Because it kind of like all of a sudden they're being like lifted off their
Yeah.
feet, and I'm like, whoa, that would be scary.
Scary. And then Aragog tells them not to eat them at first.
Right. Well, it just like they kind of bring them to him,
Yeah.
and then they like, hey, let me tell you the situation. Hagrid sent us. And he's like, oh, Hagrid's a friend. He found me.
Raised me.
Yeah. I came to him in the pocket of a traveler. He raised me, found me a mate. We were able to make this huge family you see before you.
He's like,
Hagrid's my boy.
Yeah. My kids don't eat Hagrid on my command.
Right. They're like, can you tell us about the are you the chamber beast?
Are you the thing?
And he's like, no, I'm not the chamber beast.
I'm not the thing.
But I know what the chamber beast is. Okay, tell me what it is. Oh, we don't speak its name.
Yeah, we don't speak its name.
We're scared
We
of
flee
this.
from it.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
You're scared of... Can you give me more than that?
Just tell me its name.
Right.
Just tell me what it is.
Give me some info.
That he could have just said it. It's a very giant serpent.
Right, but no.
Which, honestly, why wouldn't somebody have just assumed it's a snake?
Right.
Slytherin, snake.
Right.
It's a snake.
They go for the easy answers or the no answer because
right.
they're lazy.
They're just not thinking it through.
No.
So, Harry and Ron are kind of like, okay, cool. We know it's not you.
Yeah.
We know Hagrid's innocent. We're just going to be on our way.
Right.
See ya. Have a great night.
We're going to skedaddle.
And they're like, no.
Sorry, but...
We're hungry.
Yeah, and I can't let food just walk off.
Yeah. Sorry about it,
Right.
but we're going to eat ya.
Right.
Right.
The boys are terrified. Because we find out earlier, Ron is especially terrified because when he was little, was it George?
Fred?
Fred or George? I thought it was George.
I don't know.
But
It's one of them.
it doesn't matter
It's
necessarily. One of the Trixie twins. I'm not saying it doesn't matter because the twins are the same person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
It's one of the twins.
one of the twins turned Ron's teddy bear into a giant spider thing
Yeah.
when he was little. So now he's terrified of spiders. So
Yeah.
they're about to get eaten. But thank the Lord, the Fort Anglia drives up.
Yeah.
Because we forgot to tell you, after it crashed into the willow, it just kind of drove off. It was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
You've gotten me hurt, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And it drove into the forest.
Right.
Or it drove off.
It drove off.
But now we know it drove into the forest, and the forest turned it wild. And it's come to save the boys. They hop in.
Get Fang.
It gets them out of there.
Yep. They just zoom
Not
away.
quite as dramatic as the movie, but to me, just as satisfying.
Yeah. Yep. The Fort Anglia comes up to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
One of the pieces of information that they did find out from Aragog is that the monster, Slytherin's monster, their last victim, died in a bathroom.
That's right.
And so while they're in the Fort Anglia getting saved,
Yeah.
Harry's like, died in a bathroom. Moaning Myrtle. Oh, whoa.
She lives in a bathroom.
She lives in a bathroom. Could
Connection?
it be her? Yep, they realize. It's probably Moaning Myrtle.
Right. The pieces are falling together.
It's all coming together now.
Yep. And we are to the chapter called The Chamber of Secrets.
The namesake.
Yep.
Here we are.
So things are about to get popped off.
We're getting somewhere now. We're getting somewhere.
Right. So yeah. They're putting the pieces together as best they can, just the two of them.
Yeah.
They're having breakfast, and Ginny, who we've said this whole time has just been distraught beyond belief.
Yeah, a nervous wreck.
Comes to the table, and she looks like she wants to tell Ron and Harry something. But before she can say anything, Percy pops over and interrupts them, and she runs off.
Yeah.
And Harry and Ron are like, she was going to say something, like, I think it was important. I think it had something to do with the chamber. And Percy's like, no, it didn't have anything to do with the chamber. It's something else.
It's not important.
I told her to not tell anybody.
Not important.
Button your nose in, Percy.
Yeah.
He's a little bit self-important, pompous this whole entire book, but we just haven't had the time to really touch base on him.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But yeah, so the boys, still a bit at a loss, go to visit their friend Hermione. Well, actually, no, they were going to go...
I think they were going to go to talk to Moaning Myrtle.
Yes, they were going to go talk to Moaning Myrtle, but then they got caught halfway, and McGonagall's like, why are you not in your dormitory? What the actual heck?
Yeah.
And they're like, thought real quick on their feet, well, we wanted to go see Hermione and tell her that, you know, the man, because now the mandrakes are ready and everyone's about to be woken up.
Yeah.
So they're like, you know, we just wanted to tell her that she was gonna, you know, that things are gonna be okay and she's about to be fixed. She's like, she believes them. She's like, of course you do. Go ahead. So now they have to go.
Yeah, they have to go.
Because that's where they said they were going. Because she let Madame Pomfrey know that they're allowed to be in there. So Madame Pomfrey's like, I don't know why you're talking to someone who's petrified. They can't talk back or hear you, but
okay,
go for it.
Yeah.
They're sitting there talking to her, and they find a piece of paper in her hand. And Hermione figured it out.
Of course she did.
If only she had said something before she ran off, like I said 10 times. I just can't let it go. But I digress.
I get it.
So it's about, she's got a paper, and it's about basilisks.
Mm-hmm.
Spiders flee before it. It's a giant snake.
What is it? The crow of the rooster?
Yes.
Something, and all of the school's roosters had been killed.
Yeah, the crow of the rooster, I think, can kill it.
Yeah.
And just all these pieces are falling into place.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, reading the description, it's a basilisk.
Yeah, and it kills you if you look directly in its eyes.
Yeah. If you look eye to eye with it, you're dead.
Dunzo.
And then Hermione had written pipes.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks that's how it was getting around. That's why Harry was hearing it, because he's a parcel tongue.
And he could hear it in the walls.
Or a parcel mouth.
The pipes.
And he could hear it moving around and talking in the pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they figure out why nobody died.
Mm-hmm.
There was water on the floor for the cat. She saw the reflection of the basilisk.
Yep.
Colin saw it through his camera.
Mm-hmm.
Justin saw it through Nearly Headless Nick. And then Hermione and Penelope Clearwater
were found with a mirror.
Found with a mirror. Because, of course, Hermione, the instant she figured it out, was going to tell everybody she knew, like, walk with a mirror, don't, with something reflective, don't just go popping around corners. I want to know where this basilisk was just popping its head out for people to see.
Yeah.
That's my only, wait, what?
Because it's, giant.
Yeah. But, yeah, so they put all the pieces together. Are they on their way to go find McGonagall?
Yeah.
And then that's when they find out there's been another attack.
And someone has been taken into the chamber. So all of the staff are called to the staff room. So Harry and Ron run to the staff room. And they basically overhear. I think they might be hiding in there. I don't think the teachers know they're in there.
I don't think so.
But they can hear, and McGonagall's like, it's Ginny Weasley. And we're going to have to close the school and blah, blah, blah. We have to get the students home tomorrow. And then, Lockhart shows up late.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, you're just in time.
Actually, glad you're here. You have the opportunity that you've been looking for. You've been bragging that you knew where the chamber is the whole time.
You've been bragging you knew what the monster was. So now's your chance. Someone's been snatched. Go do your thing and save Ginny Weasley.
And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll go get ready.
You're right. Yeah. Get right on that.
Yep.
And so Harry and Ron are like, okay, well, we're going to go tell Lockhart what we know.
Mm-hmm.
And they find him packing his shit because he about to run.
Coward extreme.
And he tells them, actually, I didn't do any of that stuff in my books. I just had other people tell me the stories of things that they had done. And then I modified their memories.
Because that's the only thing I'm good at.
Because that's the only thing I'm good at.
Is modifying memories. I'm really good at that charm.
Yes, and stealing their good deeds.
Mm-hmm. Because, of course, who wants to hear a story about some ugly witch or wizard,
Right.
He thinks
Gilderoy.
It's got to be some smoking hot person with charisma.
Yeah.
And that's him.
That's apparently him.
They weren't going to benefit from their stories, but he could.
He could.
And then he's like, oh, and by the way, I'm going to obliviate you too. And they're like, nah.
Yeah. And Harry, obviously, is quick on the draw.
Expelliarmus.
Disarms him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, you're coming with us.
Yeah.
We know where the entrance is.
Yeah.
And we know what it is.
Did they need to bring him? Probably not. But it's really funny because it's like, you want to be the hero today? Let's go.
Yeah. So they all go to Moaning Myrtle's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, hey, Myrtle. How did you die?
Yeah.
And so then she's like, well, I was in the bathroom because Olive Hornby was making fun of my glasses.
Jerk Olive Hornsby.
And she's like, I came out of the stall and I just saw a giant pair of yellow eyes and then I was dead. And so she points him to one of the taps that has never worked. And Harry's like, oh, yep, I see a little snaky snake carved there. So he does his parcel tongue.
Yep. I think it's cool that he has to try it a couple times.
Yeah.
Because he can't just do it on command yet. He has to imagine that it's a real snake. I thought that was a nice touch.
Nice touch. Yeah. So it opens, they hop down the chute and they're walking along. They're looking for the snake and Gilderoy he's not done with his tricks.
No.
So he's walking back there, snatches Ron's wand, and he's like, all right, the jig is up.
Yeah. Say goodbye to your memories. I'm going to say that it was too late to save the girl and that you two lost your mind at the sight of her mangled body.
Yeah, yeah.
Say goodbye to your memories. I'm going to be the 100% hero with 0% effort. I'm
winning this, so it's been real.
Right.
He does his memory charm, but it's Ron's wand.
Ba-boom, backfire.
Backfires on him, destroys the tunnel, rocks everywhere.
Yeah, so Harry is separated from Lockhart and Ron. Mm-hmm. So Harry has to go on without them because they can't move the rocks. There's no other option.
Yeah.
It's like Ginny could be dying for all they know, so Harry has to go try while Ron figures out a way to get through the rocks.
Yep.
So Harry moves on.
He moves on, and he eventually gets into the actual open chamber. So now we're into the next chapter, Heir of Slytherin. Mm-hmm. And he sees Ginny. She's unconscious at the foot of a giant statue of Salazar Slytherin. And
full body statue, right?
Full body statue. I think she's right at his feet.
Yep.
In the movie, it's just his head.
Yeah.
But
which cool visual.
It looks cool. Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
And what do you know? But Tom Riddle is there.
Weird. He looks a little fuzzy around the edges, but he's standing there over Ginny.
Yeah, he's standing there, and Harry's like, "Yo, what's up?
What you doing here, Tom?"
So he starts telling Harry about what has happened to Ginny.
Yeah.
Well, she found this diary, and she started pouring her heart and soul into it.
Literally her soul.
And he was writing back to her. Little by little, getting her to trust him.
Mm-hmm. Then she mentioned this boy, Harry Potter, and Tom got real interested.
He was like, all right, I'm going to stick around.
Yeah.
He said it got boring because she was, like, worried. All of her stuff was secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
And blah, blah, blah. 11-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But she'd put so much into the diary, and then he all of a sudden could just, boop,
Control
possess her a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then she started having episodes where she couldn't remember what she'd done. She couldn't remember where she was last night, but then she came to and had paint all down her front.
And boo-hoo, she was crying about it.
Yeah, and then she had, all the chickens were killed, and she had feathers all over her.
Mm-hmm.
But she had no recollection of doing anything.
So she got freaked out and
She was
dumped
real
the
freaked out.
diary in the bathroom.
Yep.
And lo and behold, who picked it up? Harry Potter.
Yep. And that's whenever he showed him, hey, it was Hagrid.
Lies.
Lies.
Sorry, that was really loud.
Lies. So Harry's like, okay, that's all fine and good, but why?
Right.
What's the point here?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm the one. I'm the one who opened it back in the day.
Right.
And I'm still the one now.
Right.
So that is essentially what is up here.
Yes. And when I met you, I was real anxious about it because she told me how you destroyed Lord Voldemort.
Yeah.
And I was real curious how a kid did that. So I wanted to, know more about you and meet you. So when you opened my diary, I was ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I lied to you, but...
it is what it is.
And then I possessed Ginny Weasley, and now I'm taking her life force. Yeah, but why?
Yeah.
Why do you care about Lord Voldemort? He's past your time. And then Tom says, Voldemort is my past, present, and future because I am Lord Voldemort.
That's right.
And we actually get, I think that his evil monologue is even better in the book than the movie because we get a little bit more backstory. He's like, it's a name I came up with for myself in school. I used it with my closest friends. Of course, he's not going to keep his dad Tom's name because he's named after his dad and his grandfather. Tom for his Muggle father, Marvolo for his grandfather, his mother's father. His mother was a witch, and then Riddle, the last name. His Muggle father abandoned them before he was even born because he
he found out his mother was a witch.
Right, but there's a lot more to it than that, but
that doesn't come
you
for a
don't
long
get to
time.
find out that here. But he's ticked off. He hates Muggles because of it, and wanted no association with it, and he became Lord Voldemort.
Yep.
And somehow he placed a copy of himself in this diary just in case it was needed. Was that the reason? I can't.
So that someone could open the chamber after he's left.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and then he's like, all right, well, this has been a real good chat, but it's time for me to kill you now.
Right.
So he calls the basilisk. And the basilisk comes out. He's a big giant snake.
Can't look it in the eye. You will die.
Harry is being very cautious, keeping his eyes closed shut. And then he hears the Phoenix song.
Yeah, he's here singing, and all of a sudden Fox shows up.
He's got the sorting hat in his claws.
I think right before that happens, Tom / Voldemort, Tom is mocking Dumbledore. He's like, he was driven out by the mere memory of me kind of thing. And Harry's like, no. And as long as people are loyal to him, he'll never be gone.
Yeah.
And then Fox
shows up. And Fox pecks out the eyes of the basilisk.
And he has the sorting hat with him. He drops that on the ground and then, pecks out some basilisk guys.
That's right.
So that's one less thing we got to worry about.
That's one less thing. And Tom is kind of like, well, that weapon's gone, but you can still track him with the smell. You've still got your venom.
Yeah, because their bite is venomous.
Just kill the kid.
Right. Get on
him.
it.
You're giant. Just eat him.
Right. Ignore the bird.
Ignore it. So Harry pulls the sword of Gryffindor out of the hat.
Yeah, he puts it on his head and is just like, okay, you must be here for a reason. Help me, help me, help me.
Yeah, and it's just like thunk.
Yeah, thunks him on the top of his head.
Yeah, which
Ouchie.
probably he's concussed a little.
Oh, gotta be.
So that happens, and he's wielding the sword.
Stabs the snake.
Stabs the snake.
But in doing so, sacrifices himself because when he stabs the snake, he gets a fang in the arm.
Yep, he does. And he feels the venom almost immediately. It's spreading.
And Tom's kind of like mocking. He's like, even the bird's crying. He knows you're dead. But then his arm is healing. Because as we remember, shoot.
Phoenix tears.
They heal you. Shoot from Tom's perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Harry's perspective.
Yeah. So he's getting healed up by the Phoenix tears.
Mm-hmm.
And the diary is not too far away from him.
Yeah.
So he's got the basilisk fang in his hand, and something in his brain just says, why don't you go ahead and stab that diary?
Yep.
So he stabs the diary, and Riddle basically
Evaporates to nothing.
And the diary like spews out ink, and it's destroyed.
It's a whole thing. And then Ginny wakes up because her soul power
her life force.
Her life force is returned to her.
Yep. And she's like,
it was
Harry,
me.
what?
Yeah, she's like, I jacked up. And Harry's like, listen, I know that it was
Okay.
Tom Riddle in the diary, and you're good.
We're
good.
Cool. We're
We're
cool.
saved.
We got this. They're on their way out.
Yeah.
So they're walking out. Ron has managed to get a hole in the rock.
Yes.
And so they get through the hole. Lockhart is
Jacked.
messed up. His memory charm was too good.
So totally backfired, and he doesn't even know who he is, doesn't know what magic, or I guess he knows what magic is, but doesn't know anything about the world that he's in or the people he's talking to.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he is, where he is, what he is, nothing. He's just...
One might say a justified end for a piece of garbage like him, but...
Yeah.
So we fly out on the tail /
feathers,
whatever of the fox flies us out of the chamber because they can carry immensely heavy loads.
That's right.
Several people is an immensely heavy load.
Yes, and he leads them to McGonagall's office.
Yeah,
and Molly and Arthur are there.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbledore is there.
Yeah, he immediately came back. He found out from some of the governors that
Luscious Lucius
was being a little sneaky and threatening their families if they didn't get him kicked out.
Yeah. Not cool, my man.
Not cool. So he comes back and is reinstated. Him and Harry have a chit-chat about what went on and, that his loyalty to Dumbledore is what called Fawkes to him. And only a true Gryffindor could have pulled the sword out of the hat.
Yep.
All kinds of just
little precious
nice
moments.
bits of info.
Yeah. So everything is cool. Ginny's not going to get in trouble.
Right. Harry, I think, even tells Dumbledore about Aragog, so they get Hagrid's name cleared.
Yeah. Everyone is cleared of their misdeeds. And so Dumbledore and Harry have, like, their moment alone, and Harry's like, am I a Slytherin? Should I be in Slytherin? I can talk to snakes. And, Dumbledore is like, that's what sets you apart is your choices. Yep. You chose Gryffindor, so you are a true Gryffindor.
Right.
So, all the niceness. And then we get some Lucius Malfoy again. Yep. He shows up. He's mad.
He busts in. He's like, what the heck are you doing here?
Yeah.
I thought I got you kicked out.
Come on.
Yeah.
Dobby is with him, so this is when we find out that Dobby's master is the Malfoys.
Yep.
And he kind of points to the diary, points to Lucius.
And he's like doing what he can, like, put it together. So, Harry, like, just calls him out to his face. He's like, hey, you were the one that was messing with Ginny Weasley in her books. You put the diary in her things.
Yeah.
You snuck it in, and
Yeah.
he's just like, don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. And Dumbledore's like, yeah, well, if any of Voldemort's old crap finds its way in my school again or in the hands of children,
Not
the
cool
ministry's
for
going to
you.
be really hunting your house.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. So, Malfoy stomps out.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry's like, can I get that diary?
Yeah. Oh, and on the way out, he just, like, kicks Dobby.
Yeah, just kicks him.
So, clearly, they treat Dobby somehow worse than the Dursleys treat Harry.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and a thing about house elves, you can't give them clothing, because if you give them clothing, then they are no longer in servitude to you.
That is how they are set free.
So, they don't, and they make it even seem more strict, like, they don't even leave laundry hanging about. Like, they can't even, like, have it laying on the floor for him to pick up. Like, so I guess they do their own laundry, but they make him do everything else.
Yeah. However, wizards do laundry.
Right.
Yes.
I know. Magic,
Whatever.
I suppose.
Magic, yeah. So, yeah, Harry stubs the diary in one of his socks, and he follows Lucius, and he just thrusts it into his hands.
Mm-hmm. I think he, like, just has the sock on top of the diary. Like, in the book, it's, like, hidden, but in the movie, it's hidden. But in the book, it's just, like, on the diary, and Lucius is like, ew, and like, throws the sock.
Flings the sock, and Dobby gets it.
He catches it.
And he's, Dobby is so free!
Yeah, yeah.
So, Harry effectively is the cause of Dobby being free.
Yep, and so great. Lucius is pissed because he's lost his servant now.
Yeah.
He's going to have to do it all by himself.
Yeah, oh my god. Even though you can do magic, so how taxing really is it?
And if you're not good at house cleaning charms, guess what? I'm sure there is a witch or wizard out there that has a cleaning business.
Yeah, and also get a quick spell course.
Right, if you're not good at it. So yeah, he is ticked, is about to, like, lay some magic on a child.
Yeah.
Because he's mad, and Dobby's like, heck no, you will not harm Harry Potter.
That's right. Not in front of me.
Right. And he, like, blows Lucius back.
Yeah.
And I guess he probably limps off or something. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. He just, stalks away.
Right.
So
all is right with the world.
All is right. They have, like, an all-night feast.
Yep. Hagrid returns. Yeah, partay. Hagrid returns. Not hung up by someone's ruddy owl or anything. He gets freed at the appropriate time.
Yeah. So they party it up. They get Hagrid back, and
Hermione's unpetrified, just like everyone else.
Yeah, everybody is woken up. The gang's all here, and basically school ends.
Yep.
I think Are they back on the train when they asked Ginny about Percy?
I thought it was during the party, but it could be on the train. I can't remember. But they were like, what were you? Yeah, they were like, oh, so you were going to... She was like, yeah, I was going to tell you about the chamber, but, oh, yeah, Percy told me not to tell you. He's been snogging Penelope Clearwater. They're dating. So the girl that also got petrified at the same time as Hermione was Percy's girlfriend.
Yeah. And she walked in on him kissing.
Yep. Because he's too hoity-toity to, let anybody know that he has romantic feelings for anybody.
Right, exactly. It's not academic, so...
No. And, of course, I gotta look at this quote. Hermione, your aunt and uncle will be proud, though, won't they? Said Hermione as they got off the train and joined the crowd thronging toward the enchanted barrier. When they hear what you did this year? Proud, said Harry. Are you crazy? All those times I could have died and I didn't manage it? They'll be furious.
Yeah, it's a really, like, funny quote.
So good.
Yeah.
Maddie pulled that one out, and it is perfection.
I love that one as well. But, yeah, that's, like, that's the end.
That's
pretty much. So...
Da, 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 da. If we missed anything, literally...
I feel like... it is incredibly minor. If
Right.
You missed it at
Yep.
This point. So yeah, that's Chamber of Secrets. The Chamber of Secrets film is very like in keeping with the first.
Yep.
It's Chris Columbus. It's got the same like fun whimsy. It is a little darker, a little more like noir
Yeah.
in the first film.
Yeah, in color scheme.
Yeah, it's very like Slytherin color scheme. So,
which I didn't really notice that until you had pointed it out, and I was like, oh, you know what, you're right. The first one is very golden red.
It's very warm, and the second one is very cold.
Yeah.
So he did very well in that, and it like really does like kind of bring up the idea that is thrown out there a lot, that when J.K. was originally writing these, she was going to give each house kind of their own focus.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but that's such a cool idea. But
yeah, that's like the conjecture, is that the first one is supposed to be like all exemplifying the traits of a Gryffindor, and then the second one is like exploring Slytherin and the origins of Slytherin and all that. But after the second one is whenever they got really popular, so she had to focus more on the through plot.
Yeah, I could see where that would be restrictive if you're trying to mold it just to like a theme because it's pleasing, not because it perfectly fits like the overall story.
Yeah, and I think there are elements in other books where you get more of one house. Like in the fourth, you get Cedric Diggory, so you get more like Hufflepuff in there.
Yeah.
And in the fifth, you get Luna, so you get a little more Ravenclaw.
Yes. I think it's lost in the movies, but it's definitely there in the books.
Yeah, you get a little bit more as you get through.
Yeah.
Especially because in the later books, they interact with more students from other houses a lot in general.
Yeah.
So, but I can understand why, on one hand, it would have been cool to have had, like, the third book be, like, very Ravenclaw and get a lot of background on Ravenclaw as a house.
Yeah.
And then get a Hufflepuff. But also, at this point, we need to, like, get into the story.
We need to
focus on the actual task at hand here. So it makes sense.
Yep, for sure.
Our next novel is
Legendborn
by Tracy Dion.
I'm very excited. I am only 2 chapters in or something, but I'm very excited already. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it's a super popular book on Book Talk, which this is one of the ones that I would say worth the hype. Some are worth the hype, some are definitely not. But this is one that's worth it. It's a YA, so just know that going in. Keep that as you're framing the story.
Don't be looking for extra spicy perverts. No, I'm just
no spice.
Just kidding.
But no, really loved Legendborn a lot, so really excited to talk about it.
Awesome. Me too.
And I guess we're going to do our final thoughts.
Yeah.
Is it necessary?
Need we rate it? Because you know it's going to be like 10 out of 5.
Yeah.
15 out of 5. 20 out of 5. A million out of 5.
Yeah. All the stars.
All the Harry Potters are that. Even if you rank them differently, like in order, they're still all great. And even with our nitpicks, it's just...
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. The stories are amazing enough to us that it doesn't matter.
Agreed, for sure.
This one, I remember when I was reading the books, I had a hard time getting through. For some reason, I feel like boring is too harsh, but really, like, it's a lot of repeat, right? It's like, we're walking, we hear the voice, someone else is petrified. We're walking, we hear the voice, someone else is petrified. So I don't know if just not enough happened, but like for some reason I remember it being a little bit of a slog for me when I was younger. Now it's not at all, and I really enjoy it. And it's actually my husband Caleb's favorite movie. Like, he loves Chamber of Secrets. Loves it. It's probably still my least favorite, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've read the book, but right now I would say that it sits at the bottom. But again, the bottom of a 10 out of 10 series is still
Yeah.
a great book. But
Yeah.
I love that we get to go to the Burrow and, like, get to learn more about the Weasleys and get a little bit more of their personalities and their home life. That's probably the thing that I love the most about this book.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I think I do remember whenever I was reading it originally that I the first time I read it, I do think I liked it more than Philosopher's Stone. Now I think that would be reversed. I think now I enjoy Philosopher's Stone a little more. But I think originally it's the continuation of the story, of course. You're just, like, excited to read the next book. You don't have to spend as much time, like, world building because while there are little snippets in there to remind you of things, it's not the first time you're getting the information, so it doesn't feel like you're spending too much time there.
Right.
And there's always an element of enjoyment when you're going back into a world.
Oh,
the
yeah,
familiarity. So I think that's probably when I was younger why I was like, oh yeah, really excited about it, really loved it.
Yeah.
Not that I don't love it still.
Yeah.
I really like Gilderoy Lockhart's character. He's just so stupid.
You love to dislike him.
Yeah, I love characters that are there to, like, be unlikable.
Yeah.
They're just so interesting. It's really interesting to me to have, like, those different types of characters, especially because he's not a villain, but he's not a villain, and he's not mean to the protagonist, like Snape.
Right.
Or Filch. But he's also, like, not a good guy.
Right.
So he's in that weird gray area.
Yeah.
And he's also just bumbling and dumb.
Yep.
So, really love Gilderoy. Just the comedic relief.
Yes.
Nice.
That's a lot of good stuff in there.
Adds a lot of levity.
Yeah. You talking about, like, the not having to, like, get as deep into the lore and stuff. I also remember when I was younger, like, the bits where I could tell that they were, like, recapping for me.
Yeah.
For some reason, I got annoyed by it. I'm like, yeah, I already know this. But, like, now I'm like, thanks for reminding me just in case I forgot.
And I
don't know what my problem was with it then.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. But I also kind of realize on this reread that, like, this is the beginning of a lot more false accusations towards Harry. Like, Draco accuses him of being, like, famous Harry Potter, da-da-da-da-da, like, all that stuff. But it's, like, it's starting now. Like, this kid gets falsely accused of doing all kinds of stuff, and his reputation is continuously wrongfully ruined, and he's just treated like, you know, a conspirator and, like, an evil person, like, and this is just the beginning. Like, this is the first, but this is not the last time that this happens to this poor kid.
Yeah, I know. It's really sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We'll see.
And we get to see Harry and Ron actually solve some things without Hermione.
Yes.
Like, even though they did have to find the paper in her hand to actually know it's a basilisk, but they did figure out, they went to Aragog, they figured out that Moaning Myrtle is probably the person who died 50 years ago.
Yeah, they contributed a lot to this puzzle.
They found they figured out where the entrance to the chamber was. Like, they figured out a lot of stuff without Hermione. So, I you know.
They pulled their weight in the trio.
They did.
It's a very balanced trio, really.
Yeah. Yeah, they balanced each other very well, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, my Goodreads review on this is obviously 5 out of 5.
Yep.
Love it. I'll take any Harry Potter.
Agreed.
Honestly.
Agreed.
So, perfection. All of it's great and good and beautiful.
Yep. So, if you think we're great and wonderful, we would appreciate it if you would please rate and review us.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Totally.
You can do it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure you can do it on other platforms as well. I just don't have the names of them off the top of my head now.
I don't know. I mean, Audible,
yes.
does it too. That's the only other one that I know for sure you can rate. But, do all the stuff.
Yep. Send along your book recs to our email. Let us know if you've read any of the books that we've covered. if this is the first time you're going through Harry Potter. I doubt it, but if it is,
Yeah.
let us know your thoughts, and also sorry for all the spoilers.
Yeah. Hopefully if you tried to listen to our coverage of Philosopher's Stone, the spoiler alert at the beginning, let you know that we were going to spoil the whole series for you in that one. We actually have not done any like series spoilers really.
You said a pretty
one.
big one earlier about
Which
Sirius. You said something about Sirius dying earlier.
Did I? I thought
I made a mental note because I was like,
dying.
Whoop.
Well, I said something about Sirius and Regulus.
Yeah.
Being in the blacks, him being the only good of the blacks.
Right, but I can't remember what you were saying, but you said something about after Sirius dies.
Yeah.
If you catch it on the edit,
Yeah.
no big, but when you
We'll
said
see.
that, I was like, oopsie. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
did pretty good.
Eh.
You're like, I don't believe you.
No, I'm sure I said it. That's just
It's all good.
old information. You just can't help it.
No, you can't.
It
No.
just comes out.
It does.
So
It does.
yeah, I'm sure I said it for sure.
I mean,
I'll take it out if I can isolate it.
Right. If not, then we'll just put the spoiler warning at the beginning of the episode. It's all good.
Yay.
You're like, it is what it is.
The only other series really that we could spoil on this is Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we haven't started any other series.
Mm-mm. No, I don't think so. I mean, the Discovery of Witches, but we haven't gone back to it, and I don't know that we have plans to.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe eventually. I forgot. That
I mean,
that was
in
a
the
series,
in the immediate.
honestly,
Huh?
yeah, I forgot that was a series, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like a real cliffhanger at the end there.
Yeah.
Oh man. Whoop.
I guess let us know if you guys really want us to get to the rest of the books in that series, or if you don't give a hoot.
Yeah, give us a shout on that.
Right.
So,
But our tunes and artwork were a collaboration of the We Read Books crew. This crew of two.
as always.
Yep.
Just the two of us. And until we catch you next time, never trust anything that can think for itself if you can't see where it keeps its brain. But still read books.
Absolutely.
Okay, bye.
Bye.